Yeah. Shalom, shalom. Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. Right, we're going to start off by giving all praise to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushai, Bashem, Rakal, Kadash, double honor to the apostle of great millstone, and honor to brothers in the work of the most high in truth and in sincerity. The Lord wisdom, God. Sure. Right, with the Hebrew Israelites who come out week in, week out to prophesy the downfall of this wicked ass kingdom, right? And one of the things that's beautiful is we're seeing this kingdom coming to an end, man. Right, and rightfully so, because you know what? This is an oppressive kingdom, right? It's a kingdom where, as an Israelite, you know, you know, he makes everything and every single angle difficult and hard for you to be able to maneuver. Which that's all part of the curses, right? That's part of the punishment that wherein we are under, right? But let's go into this, right? Baba
It's a book of Wisdom of Solomon, 5 and start from 1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him.
Right. So then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness. Right. Starting off with the apostle from the apostles on down. Right. Those are those righteous men standing in great boldness, standing in front of Esau, being like Shalom. Right. Standing in front of Esau, saying, "Look, man, this what do you call it? Your kingdom's going down and everything." Right. Carry on.
Uh, and he made no account of his rebels.
Right, and that's what we were going into, right? Esau ain't made no account of our labors, man. Right? He ain't made no account of our labors, and that saying, Jake started being called lazy when we stopped working for free, right? Which is a true saying. Esau, he likes to, always undermine Jake, but he's always trying to find an angle to not let Jake succeed. And then when it comes down to it, Sean, right? And then when it comes to it, what will Esau then say? Oh, you ain't trying hard enough, Sean. Right? Hey, all Jakes have experienced this one, right? You're in a room, would you call it, work in a room at work, where the Edomites there, right? And then it's time to give suggestions about something. And you as a Jake, you're like, yeah, man, all right, we could do X, Y, Z. Right? Yeah, we could do X, Y, Z. But then guess what? All of a sudden, right, and Edomite says the same thing. Are you in the shop, bro? Right. The Edomite says the exact same thing, and all of a sudden, it's the greatest idea any man's ever made. Right? But that's part of just the curses and the fact that we're at the bottom in this world. Right? But that's one of the things that we're coming to prophesy that is coming to an end. Right? Carry on.
It goes on to say, when they see, they shall be troubled with terrible fear, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation so far beyond all that they looked for.
Right, and that's going into the salvation by the chariots, man. Right, which is what we're looking forward to. Right, because that's it. We're coming out to bring a message of hope to our people. Right? Not a message of ourselves. It's a message from Yahweh Shem Shai, which basically says, hey, Jake, hey, we know we've been suffering as a nation. We know that we've been, going through hell as a nation. But guess what? The time for that is coming to an end. You could get 2 Peter 3:13, but
the same thing that occurred during the time in Egypt.
Yeah.
The Lord heard our cries. Right? The Lord sees our suffering. Even though we brought it upon ourselves because we brought the Lord's commandments, the Lord sees it, man. Mm-hmm. And he hears our cries. And he hears the cries of the elect. Those that sigh and cry about this world, man. Right? That's who the Lord is really hearing, because the rest of EJ, they don't really want out.
Exactly.
They just want a better a better world.
Yeah.
The Lord wants his people, though.
Yeah. The elders in Dallas yesterday, they're always saying they're trying to decorate hell. Exactly. But that's what Jake wants to do.
Well, Christmas time, right? That's what they be doing. Exactly. All the decorations that make it look glitzy and glamoury.
Exactly.
Make it feel nice.
Exactly. Here it is, man's in a jail cell, putting the tinsel in the jail cell. Yeah. Tree on the tree above the toilet. That's what Jake's trying to do in this world. Right? But
it's all right. It's not that bad. For Christmas,
Exactly. That's what
All this shit.
that's what Jake does, man. What what's saying, but and Jake makes a thing of it. They gave us lemons, we made lemonade. Right? But if you grab that one before sure.
So 2 Peter 3:13. It says, nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for new heavens and a new earth, wherein dwelleth righteousness.
So according to because these things have been promised, a better world has been promised, and that's one of the things that gives us comfort, man. The fact that this ain't it.
Right, yeah.
You imagine if this was it, we're fucked, right? And the worst thing is, what did the ape say, right? He's a beast, man, right? It will make a thing, what you call a desert, you know, of his, or based on his home as well, and yours, right? Matthew, in fact, you can grab that as well, real quick. Matthew 24:22. We get if you hold that, and we'll come back to that. So if you grab it, sure, right? 22.
This is the book of Matthew 24:22. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved.
Right. So unless the Lord, right, sends his son back, we all gonna die with this man and rulership.
Yeah.
Right? Look, just once again, just a small point. Look at the plummeting birth rate worldwide. That should be like a number one, just, you know, the fact that, because, you know, you get certain countries that everyone knows about, but even Italy, there's only like 100 years of Italians left. Right? No more mamma mia.
Even these Edomite scientists even predictable the end.
Yeah.
Well, why? Oh, because of this and that. Well, what are the cause behind?
Exactly.
You know, or global warming. You're responsible for that.
Exactly.
You know, or the earth is going to be so unstable, it's going to kill everybody on the planet, or the sun's going to blow up, or something. You know, it's you.
They got solution in it. They want you to freeze your heads and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
They want you to be broke as fuck.
Yeah. What? Yeah.
And they want you to live and own nothing.
Yeah.
That's their answer, because they're gonna have everything. Right? These elites are gonna take everything from everybody, right? And they want you to be broke. They want you to live by the rules that they're giving you.
Exactly. And you know what's an interesting point, because just tying that with what the brother just said as well, right? If he's basically made it, because be not mistaken, he is the reason people aren't having children. Right? Be not mistaken.
And there's multiple layers to that.
Multiple layers.
Not only government policies that these are governments introduced, it's the food, it's the water,
chemicals,
the
pill,
the medical system,
you know,
all of that.
It's like, because I remember hearing like certain women, they may have like heavy periods, so easily just like, have the pill, and then they're on the pill for like 10, 20, 30 years, however long. And then before you know it, it's like when they want to come off the pill and actually have children, their systems don't work.
Yeah.
Right. So on several levels, you are the reason people aren't having children. So then what's going to happen? You're going to only be able to do it via stuff like IVF, via stuff like some basic medical intervention, which the rest of us are going to be in the world that Esau's preparing are going to be broke. So the only people that can have children are going to be the elites.
Yeah.
Because he's a eugenist, right? And in eugenics, only the best can procreate.
And that's the whole point. He's controlling new life, right? He's controlling. Yeah, exactly. If he can kill you off and you can't have children, guess what? He can maintain your population quite easily.
Yeah.
You know, because you don't have the option of giving birth to more children. So you're just gonna die out. Your family die. Your seed line is gonna die out eventually. But they will be preserved because they got all the money. They got all the access to all the instruments that they need. You know, they can clone themselves and do whatever in that, in the future or whatever. You know, watch a carbon man just swap sleeves, swap bodies like it's nothing. You know, like that's his vision of the future. The poor don't get nothing. The poor get to live. I leave the quote term. They get to survive and be somewhat present, right? But you don't get to enjoy exist. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You get to exist, right? If he deems it, you get to exist, right? But you don't get to live on any type of level. And that's why you see all these futuristic movies like Elysium, man. Like, mankind on Earth is suffering. But the ones up in the heavens, i.e. these elites, because this is their heaven, but they're in rulership, right? They're living in the plushest of ways. So, just like they have been living, but they like watching you squirm and suffer.
Let me look up that word real quick. Let me type into, you got to put define before Google thinks I'm searching for something else. So a sadist, sadist, is a person who derives pleasure especially, well, he loves that sexual gratification from inflicting pain or humiliation on others.
So we know Esau does everything on a global scale.
Yeah.
He's not just violent; he's a global violent, guy wreaking destruction. Because he'll look at Jay, he's violent in the streets or whatever. But Esau does everything on the next type of level, right? So this isn't just like between a man and woman type thing, or in his case, a man and man. Where he's being a sadist. He'll be a sadist over the whole earth, on everybody, because he likes to watch you suffer.
Yeah.
He gets to make him big himself up. Because he's so good. He's just bad man. He's just a bad mind character in the story. That's why the Most High hates him.
He gets aroused over world hunger.
Yeah. Like, he's out there hoping, we're gonna build a well, but he's gonna rape the children while he's there.
Yeah.
And then they still don't solve the water issue.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Can I read? So this is an AI overview. What does it say this person mean? Which call it any precepts that come to mind as I'm reading it. Right, so the sadist is a person who derives pleasure, gratification, or enjoyment from inflicting pain, suffering, humiliation, or torment on others, right? Which can be physical, emotional, or psychological. So, pretty sort of like I'm thinking about, how the oppressor ceased, right? Proverbs 29, right? It says this enjoyment comes from seeing or causing the victim suffering, and Esau loves to see it. Esau loves it. You got the different stories about how they were on if any of those ready, pull them out.
On the Esau, right? This is Habakkuk 2 and 4. It says, "Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him."
Right, which on that we're gonna get to it in about how a sadist is defined psychologically, right? Proving that this man ain't right. Carry on.
Yeah, and it says, "But the just shall live by his faith."
Right, so the first half is referring to Esau, but that second half is referring to Jacob, right?
It says, "Yea, also, because he transgresseth by wine."
Right, so that's going into his philosophies, and a lot of his philosophies, are philosophies of death.
Yeah.
Right, the things that he pushed. I mean, the fact that we live in a world where man and woman argue. Here it is. When you read, was it Matthew 19? It speaks about based what the Most High has joined together.
Yeah.
But what does Esau push? He pushes this notion of two individuals basically cohabiting. Now, that's what Esau pushes. He pushes cohabitation as opposed to actually being a union with the water.
There's no sacredity. That's the word. Right, of man and woman being together.
Yeah.
It's like a partnership of convenience.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, because you need one another to survive in this day and era.
Well, nowadays you can't survive without it.
So I mean, right? Everyone's made so broke. It's like you need two people working, so you need kind of people to be together.
Yeah.
You have to have children. You happen to love each other for the time being.
Yeah.
Because like I say, these unions that we have is very temporary a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Marriages are not kept. The divorce rate is crazy high. Like no one cares about relationships really, or doing what's right. Right. So Esau's just giving just do what you need to do to survive and get what you need. So, selfishness, basically.
And it says, "He's a proud man."
Oh, he a proud man. If that's not Esau, right? Everything that he is doing is an epitome of his pride. The fact that he's basically putting these AI systems together, right, is epitomizing his pride because he's trying to use the AI systems as carnal angels, right? You ain't gonna be able to do anything without this man knowing. You ain't be able to go anywhere without this man knowing, man. Right?
Right. This is the book of Ecclesiastes 10 and 12. The beginning of pride is when one departeth from Most High, and his heart is turned away from his maker.
Go into it, bro.
Yeah, that's what Esau is, man. He's pushing everything but Most High. Rebellious is in the forefront of his work. His agenda, his policies, now teaching, children, even the little children, disobey their parents, disobey Most High,
disrupting the fabric of life. Yeah. Right? Because he is anti-life. Right? He is against everything the Most High have established, which if a man follow, will bring him life. Right? And Esau goes about, purposefully, right, to go against it.
God, I'm happy you said that, Zupon, because this is you had the guy, remember, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and he was basically the Eastern European guy,
Yeah,
the one
yeah,
about the
housing,
houses, yeah. And that's the thing. He was talking about as if it's an accident. There's a notion in this world that these things are accidental. No, this is the devil we're dealing
But
with.
how can a white man who's so intelligent,
Yeah,
so intelligent, most
exactly,
how can he make this mistake?
exactly.
If when we know,
Yeah,
when we know, and we're just we're dumb Negroes, right? We've got IQs,
yeah.
great
IQ's negative.
spades,
IQ's a negative.
but we know, right? This devil is, like, what scripture say, he's more subtle than any beast of the
Yeah,
field.
yeah,
He's very cunning, very
yeah,
intelligent, right? We're not gonna deny you that. So you're intelligent in the ways of wickedness.
Yeah. Why is it
Supreme on that level, right? You're not stupid in that sense, right? But you make it seem like these are a series of unfortunate events that take place.
Yeah, and now you've got to come in and fix it.
When you have plans for an agenda, mistakes don't happen. These things that are deemed mistakes don't happen if you've got an agenda to play.
So,
These are plans you make, right?
and the thing is, it's funny, man, because the elites must just be sitting in their boardrooms laughing at these people, because the elites will do the usual. We're going to do a drill on the 6th of July, and then on the 7th of July, that same thing happens. So I am talking about 7/7. Then all of the time, there's always we just so happen to have done a drill of that exact event the day before. Always happens every single time.
And it's funny that whenever these things happen, it never affects the elites.
Yeah.
It only affects people below them. Right? So these mistakes are not mistakes because they don't affect them anyway.
Yeah.
That's all part of the plan.
Yeah.
Economy's tank. That's what we want.
Yeah.
People crying out in the street because they're broke. That's what we want. But we want them dependent. We want them to beg for this MOTV when it comes out.
So,
right? So he has to put you in a situation where everything's just not working for you, man. But everything's working for them.
he wants to make you suffer. It's just that word sadist, which I'll get more pieces I'll go into if that's all right.
I've got two precepts on the throw back to back. This is the first one, Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 15. So woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, that putteth thy bottle to him, and maketh him drunken. Also, that thou mayest look upon their nakedness, their shame. He likes to shame us, man. He likes to humiliate us. He likes to see us groveling and down out, slung on drugs, and all these entitled things. He takes pride and pleasure. Because he'd rather he could just destroy us, man. But it's not as simple as that. Because most I won't allow that, right? But he's able to keep us in this downtrodden condition where he can look and mock. And that's where he wants us, at the bottom. And all these other nations that are around about us are in agreement with that, right? No one was trying to uplift us from the bottom. No one was trying to establish us as the Israelites. Nobody, not one of them, right? They don't want us to be or to reclaim that heritage. Right, and I'm not talking about the peons. The peons don't know shit right now, but these leaders in these nations, they know. They know about us, man. And none of them want to see us uplifted to our rightful position, right?
Because then they know that once we're good with the Most High, Jude 5:17. They know that once we're good with the Most High, that they got no more space. Their chance of rulership is done.
Because these leaders, they got a slice of Esau as well. They got a certain position and a place in this world where certain men are doing good. And like I say, I'm talking about the elites. They don't care about these people. They don't care about the people under them. But what they don't understand, that under the Israelites, the world will actually be better for them. You're gonna get your ass fucking handed to you for 1,000 years, like hardcore raw. But after that 1,000 years, you're actually gonna be living in a better standard. Maybe not you fucking, you're gonna get catching hell forever. But you're gonna be living an overall better life than the lives you're living right now, man. One that's actually full of health.
I was just gonna say, in the kingdom, you're gonna be rewarded for righteousness. Instead of here, you're rewarded for wickedness.
That's right. What was the second? That's what we touched on. 2 Peter 3:13, wherein dwelleth righteousness. But I was gonna add as well. It's like as an example, it's like you'll be dealing with a woman that, let's say she's a feminist, and you're basically telling her, nah, that ain't the way. In her mind, in the moment, she's like, no. But then after all, she's like, actually, no, the patriarchy is better.
Because you women are broken, man. You women are broken people, right? And to be fair, all these people are broken. Even the men are broken, right? And this is the thing: everything's in disorder. When things are in order, harmony can come about. Right? But when there's no order, there's only chaos. There's only chaos, man. And Esau promotes chaos. That's why we can't get along, and we're not in the right minds. Men are not men, and women are not women, man. But in the kingdom, everything's gonna be restored in its order. So there's gonna be harmony again. So you naturally, if everything's in harmony, you're gonna be more happier.
everything to do with the law is to promote peace.
That's it.
Like covetousness means you're not gonna be looking about the other people's lands, man, to take over.
Yeah.
So that's eliminating war and everything.
Because how these women think is like, oh, if we put these women here back into the ancient world, obviously that ain't gonna fucking work. Because these women are just too far gone. You will be put to death in a minute. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just say it. You know, but everybody's gonna be in a different mind state.
That's it. That's it.
You know, everyone's gonna be in a different mind state, man. And so you're not gonna feel like that's some sort of disrespect that you're under manners under your husband.
Yeah.
That's gonna be normal, and you're gonna respect it and be happy for that. You know, because your ass is only here because we're here. You know, and you're gonna be getting all the benefits that the men have received.
That's it.
You know, through the Lord's blessing of righteousness upon them, man. You know, and so you're gonna, as I said, you women in the mindset you are obviously you don't fit into the ancient realm,
Exactly.
world, innit?
Yeah.
But you ain't gonna be in that same mindset, man,
Exactly.
because you've been fucked up.
It's the same way we speak. You said that, with everyone. Same way with these men.
Mm.
Because you get certain men that they hear certain things that we're saying, but even about having these nations in slavery. It's like, bro, in the kingdom, you go and be like, yeah, slave, come on, bring my
Bro, who would not want another pair of hands in the house doing work for you, man? You know what I mean, I would love that, and not because I believe in this people that team. If I had an extra pair of hands, bro, things would be so much more easier.
Bro, I need
The burden isn't just on my woman or me to do certain things. I've got another pair of hands that could do things that I ain't got time to do.
That's it. Yeah.
Just that I'm too broke. I'm too broke to have that person. But when it's free, I ain't gonna worry about the payment.
Exactly.
You know, because you'll be looked after in other ways. You know, you'll be fed and whatever, right?
That's it. Because I still need to do my ironing, man.
And in this world, I actually got to go to work.
Yeah.
So where do I have time to do all this other stuff too? And cater to my boy and my woman and stuff like that. I just don't have all the time to do all these things, and things get left behind and things don't get done for ages. You know, you're not in the right mindset. You're just you're tired or cooked. Yeah, you know what I mean. So and my woman, same thing. You know, one woman's got a bunch of ailments and stuff, so it would just be easier for her if someone else was in the house also.
Yeah,
there ain't gonna be no guy, obviously. Just be real about it. But you're gonna have your handmaids and stuff like that. That around your woman and shit. To help her out.
That's it.
If she got children to help out with the children, because she ain't gonna have one children in the kingdom. She can have many children, young ones, and so that's a lot of hard work. We know, we've seen it. Everyone's got children, man. We know. We're not like completely ignorant to the fact that having children is difficult work, especially in this world. But with all those extra pairs of hands and people helping you, man, that job's a lot easier.
That's why it become rich.
Yeah,
because of the
Safe.
health, man.
Yeah, because even on that, going back to this notion of Esau, none of this simulation that we live in, right? I'm saying that facetiously, but none of this world that we live in is accidental, right? The reason he made it so hard to raise children to not have a network is so that he can replace the parents, right? So that he can basically replace the parents with himself or with technology, man. Right?
Hell, even these towns don't work the same way as they used to.
Yeah.
Like this community that we live in, we're working in right now, like they're not together like they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of people around here, but like they either know each other because they have to pass each other and stuff like that, but they don't really know each other.
Yeah.
They all could depend on each other because like movement goes on so much. People buying out of places, moving into different places, and they don't know each other.
Yeah.
And so there's no support there.
Neighborhood watch, stuff like that.
And most of these people might be Edomites. I don't know if in these houses, but like
It's everything device.
But like they always speak about some Jake children out here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But they're not together like they're supposed to be to support one another, man. When like things are very disjointed in this world because of Esau, because people with selfishness and ignorance basically.
Yeah. I can grab this real quick. It says Psalm 64:6. They search out iniquities, they accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep.
How can a diligent person make all these mistakes that are obvious, that are blindingly obvious? That's not diligence. Like, I know we can only plan the best that we can sometimes, but this is for prophecy. They're meant to do this. So everything that they're doing isn't going to go wrong because they're meant to get to this stage.
Yeah.
It's different when I make a plan. It's not prophecy. It's not written. So I don't know if it's going to happen or not. But I'm trying to do something. It might not happen. But these devils, you don't understand how much money and time they put into these things, the witchcraft they put into it. They're diligent with it, right? And on top of that, the Most High is with it.
Exactly.
The Most High is with it, man.
When you watch Hollywood, you understand that this man has a set agenda. You know, it's like once again, it's like, because Spirit has a word, but I observe a lot of the Eastern world stuff, and then when I watch how even their television now is basically pushing agendas that aren't culturally accepted. Like I didn't watch it, but I heard in like Squid Game 2, for instance, there was a whole tranny and all of that.
Yeah, ex-military man. Now wants to become a woman. Well, now is a halfway woman.
Right, but
Right.
then basically in Korean culture, that sort of shit, like you don't do that shit. You know, especially to them. They're not saying it doesn't happen, but to have it on the main headline like that, it's exactly doing what?
To put it out there, promote it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's to co-opt. I forget the way that Elder Brother Ricard was breaking it down, but basically it's like how they in life you root for someone, right? And then basically what Esau will do in Hollywood is he's subverting what you as a human would naturally root for. So you want someone to overcome, and to get to victory, right?
Using your emotions.
Using your
And
emotions.
this is why we don't go by emotions
Exactly.
and the carnal stuff, man. We have to stay within the spirit, man. Is it right?
Exactly.
No, these things are right. Good that one died.
Exactly.
You know, I'm gonna root for that.
Exactly.
You know, she might be helping the main character or whatever, and you want the main character to win because the main character is the main character. But at the same time, like this chick was a demon.
Yeah.
Or this thing was a demon.
Yeah.
You know, it's Baphomet in the series looking at you, pretend that's your friend.
Exactly. Exactly.
You know, I don't care what the motives were, how good that person was in real life, all this kind of stuff. The fact is, with the Lord, she ain't right. Well, that person ain't right. You know, he ain't right.
Yeah.
And so this thing deserves whatever bad thing happens to it.
Yeah. And it's
Judgment.
same way you'd have you'd have stories where it's Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
But then he will have it as Romeo and Rodrigo,
Oh Lord.
right?
Romeo and Julio.
Romeo and Juliet. Yeah, Romeo and Juliet. So like, it was right there. But the point is, Esau will do that. Why? Because ultimately people would subconsciously, and that's why we hear a diligent search. He understands the minds of men, right? When you watch Hollywood, once again you understand that nothing in this realm that we see is by mistake. It's all by design. And why? How do we know? Because they pump probably trillions now into that machine. It's like anyone.
Well, I had that other one, but like, just want to say this quickly on that note. It's like Esau's MO is to get you to accept and do wickedness.
Yes.
Right? The more people he got doing wickedness, man, like the happier it makes him. Because he's like, what I'm saying, he's subverting you, man. He's getting you to go against the Heavenly Father and his ways. Right? If you go back to the idea of Satan, right, when the Most High sent Satan unto Job, he was trying to get Job to go against the Most High. That's Satan's job, right? And that's why Satan is working with his Edomites to do that very thing.
And Esau knows when it comes to the case of Jacob that us going against the Most High means we get punished. So once again, he's there like, okay, cool, being that sadist again.
That's it. That's it. And so he enjoys us being shamed. He enjoys being naked, right? And he mocks it, right? So let me read this now, Revelation 12:10. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our God and the power of his anointed. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, who accused them before our God day and night. So he's the one making us or helping us go off in some mad ways. And yet he's pointing fingers at us. Look at these people, look at your people. Look at your people. You know what I mean? But he takes joy in that because like you should have chose me. You should have chose me. I should have been the one. But you ain't the one. You're the biggest devil.
Yeah.
Right? You can't say that because Israel acting out of character. That's what it is. Israel acting out of character. Israel made to be the righteous, right? But you go out acting like the most wickedest, some of these people, some of the most wicked, right? You got them acting mad and wicked, right? You can't turn around and say, well, look at them. They're no better than me. But that's what it is with Esau. Is that they're no better than me. I deserve to be the guy that you chose, blah, 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 blah. But it just wasn't meant to be that way, bro. You can't do nothing about it.
He's proud and covetous, man. You always remember what's going on. The elder was like, oh, he could have been just brother to the king. He could have
killed, man. He could have killed and been all right. Instead, you're going to bring yourself about this great damnation, man.
Exactly. Because it was what showed it good once again in that King David program.
Yeah.
When it's showing you like King, what you call it, King David with Jonathan, and Jonathan's like, look, man, I accept it. Right, the Most High said I ain't gonna be the king. Calm. But me and you, right? As long as we cool.
Yeah.
And it's like, just promise me you look after my family. King David was like, of course, bro, of course you.
Yeah.
It's like, you my boy. And that's it. That's benefits to being friends with the king. But he ain't right. That's what we read in Habakkuk 2 and 4. He ain't right. Yep. Unless we got precepts, so I can and I'll get this carry on later on.
That's the book of Ezekiel 28 and the from 3. Behold,
Read into it.
from 1. Yeah. Ezekiel 21 and 28 and 1. The word of the Lord came again unto me, saying, Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus,
Which the modern day Prince of Tyrus, you can liken that to Esau. And it's gonna show you why we can say it's Esau. How we know that it's referring to Esau. Carry on.
Spiritually, that is
Spiritually, yeah. Thought I was trying to
Thus saith the Lord, power, because thine heart is lifted up.
Right, and when you talk about a heart being lifted up, what's that going into? That's going into pride, right? And as we read in precept, this with other precepts, who is the most proud? And this Edom, man. Okay,
it's a proud thing to think you can make the world better.
Yeah.
With your evil, I don't understand. But you disagree with how the Most High did everything, and you're gonna do everything better the way you like it. That's pride, man. That's why you got your scientists delving into all kinds of madness, man. But what are you doing? You're making things worse.
yes,
You're not making anything better. How's all this research that you do making things better for people?
yeah, it's like, yeah, man. We've now made it such that two men can basically have a baby. And it's like, bro, the Lord already made man and woman.
Yeah.
No, what are you doing?
Okay, no, this is a good one, right? Because he's my champion. This one, right? Yeah, two men can be together, and they don't, we can cure them of AIDS and HIV and shit, man. So they can do it now. Oh wow, groundbreaking, bro! They're still gonna dead it off.
Exactly.
Most High still gonna judge you. He ain't say shit.
He's gonna find a new way. Yeah.
You think the Most High can only cure you by disease? You're crazy, bro. You ain't getting around nothing. Judgment's still coming.
Hey, you know what? It's a good point because it wasn't a disease that killed the firstborn of Egypt. It was spiritual. The Lord was just there like, all right, firstborn, dead. Just like that, bam. And do you know what was a good depiction of that? Which it wasn't to do with the scriptures, but in one of the seasons in The Witcher, you remember when they basically cast a spell and then like a whole bunch of people, basically the women lost their babies. Right, and basically you just hear, it's like they walk. You don't see inside the houses, but it's like you're basically on a road in the sea, and then you just start hearing the wailing, right, from this house, and then it's just slowly spreading as more and more people. Oh, the Lord just in the moment, He just did that.
I know snap, man. There's no way around the Most High judgment, man.
Yeah,
because that's what Omi's doing. You're promoting wickedness because you can get around the judgment. Say when you go Hawaii, we could do all this, we could do that, and the Most High flooded the earth again. We can stand against it. And I like the way they talk about it, like everyone who's gonna save everybody. But we know what it's like. It's like 2012, right? Only a few men are gonna get saved. The rest are gonna perish. So. But you ain't no champion for mankind, man. You're full of shit. That's right. But you're just here defying the Heavenly Father, man. Right. That's it.
It goes on to say, because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am a power. I sit in the seat of the power, or the seat of Mosiah, in the midst of the seas. Yet thou art a man, and not Mosiah.
That's it. And what I love in verse 9, we don't have to jump to it, but in verse 9 says, will thou say before him that slayeth thee, I am, O God? Nay, but O man, thou shalt be a man. Right? In the hands of them that slayeth thee, man. Right? The Lord is going to remind Esau that he's just a man. Yeah.
And not God.
And not God.
He's not a power. Like, he's a power among men at this current time. But the Most High can change that in an instant, man.
Yeah.
You could be down low and nothing. You're not on the level of a celestial or the Most High. You're not on the level of those things.
Okay.
You ain't all knowing. You ain't all seeing. But you're trying to be. You know, it might get effort, but you ain't never gonna reach it, man.
That's it.
You know?
Because it's true. Because what in the opposite, it says of us in 1 Corinthians 15, in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye.
Yeah.
Right. So once again, in another Thanos finger snap,
Mhm.
you know, we're gonna be changed.
Through a different type of diligence, man.
Exactly.
You know, Esau is diligent in the wickedness and the witchcraft. We're diligent with the Heavenly Father and the Spirit, man. The scriptures. That's what how we're going to receive everything, man. Not how Esau's done things. You know, destroying the whole world in the process.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. Yeah, but we gave you AI. Yeah, but you destroyed the world in doing
Well, we
it.
don't need AI.
You don't need. Yeah, we've got I.
We don't need AI. What do you need AI for? AI only needed for those who don't like people, bro.
Well, yeah, bro.
Yeah, don't like people. But this word, the scripture said the earth was made to be inhabited. But you don't like people. You want to see them all gone. You want all the resources to yourself. You try and tell us, oh, we're resources limited. I mean, obviously there's a finite of resources always, but the earth grows, man. It grows things, right?
Yeah.
But you're making it sound like, oh, it can't support the life that's on earth right now. It's because you're fucking hoarded.
Yeah, it's because once again, the elders yesterday, they were going into how Esau pushed the control by pushing this notion of scarcity. Sorry, notion seems to be my favorite word today. But they keep pushing this idea of scarcity, man. You know, so there's more than enough. You know, I mean, we're gonna be a hella populated in the kingdom. There ain't gonna be a shortfall.
Bro, there's more space, man. You can put another 8 billion people on the planet, bro. Like, there's so much land and stuff going on, man. And you can't say, oh, you know, like, well, we need this land for this. Why is it? Like, bro, not everything's growing things, man. You know what I mean? Like, I know you're trying to put everybody in mega buildings and shit, 15-minute cities and shit, but that's all bullshit, man. You don't need to do all that.
Yeah, even that's oppression, man. Man, what would you call it? You'll be just there trying to sleep. You're hearing my man just like arguing with his woman at 3 a.m.
Yeah, you make these dudes finish shit, bro. You know what I mean? Like, you make these bare things these days, man.
Like what the landscape out there. Yeah, and I remember one time when the elders was like, look, here it is. You know, here it is. You're trying to be righteous, and your aura, because that's the way they'll let's say they'll shake the bedroom where your headboard is here, and that other demon's headboard is there. So like your energy is near this bloody Edomite, right? But it's just like all in the same. That ain't right, man. You know. Here it is, the Most High separated the nations. Esau is just trying to put everyone in the same bloody room almost.
You put you all in one place in the ghetto. Why you gotta ride around the countryside on his horses? You know what I mean? So there's no space. He wants to make a golf course. Like,
yeah.
Golf course for what?
Yeah, for
What
real.
purpose?
For real. And the thing
You
is,
can
that
play golf.
golf course would be cleaner than any public park.
That's what I'm saying.
Here it is, bro. My parks near me, they littering them now. And I'm supposed to live in a decent neighborhood. Litters in the park. And then but my council was sneaks. Also, they're like, oh, yeah, we're not gonna clean it up, you know, because for the habitat, you know, we're gonna. I was like, I sleep.
I found the other day there's a golf course in Barking. I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that. They're gonna do houses in it. That's how you I found out.
Okay.
I didn't know there's a golf course in Barking. I was like, what the hell was that doing there? Why was he even there in the first place? Some rich ass bastard, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, what the hell, man? Not my space though. Okay, cool.
It goes on to say, though thou set thine heart at the heart of Mosiah, behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee.
That's it. So good.
It's lucky. You know, I thought that as well, man. This AI thing, right? Like I said, we don't really need AI, right? But Esau is we must have it, right? He's on that, right? And again, AI is another thing where you want everything to be like optimally efficient. Like, you want to do things as fast as possible. Why are you being so hasty? Because you got limited time. So you got limited time, bro. We got all the time in the world. We can wait, you know, however long it takes to build a building. Using people to do it. We ain't gonna, like, we're mortal. We ain't gonna worry about all that shit. You got limited time. So you need to do things as fast as possible, and manpower ain't doing it for you no more.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because if you may reminded me of in Sabrina, the Netflix one. One of the things that the cousin kept telling Sabrina was like, "Look, man, we're basically immortal. We think different. The way those mortals think, everything is a rush to them." You know, I was one of the things, and it's true because that's what it is. When you be speaking to your family, they're like, "Oh, we need to do this, we need to do that," and they're like, you know, because for us, we're like, "Well, so if I don't do it now, I'm just doing the kingdom." You know what I'm saying? You know, whereas you know, for people in the world, they don't have that mindset. For them, this is YOLO.
Yeah.
That's what the whole industrialization thing was about. And yeah, there's always been technology to make things, you know, go a bit quicker, a bit easier. But Esau is mass produce all these things so you can get it quick.
Mhm.
Even TV series you get quick. You know,
Yeah,
you get like a whole series and give it to you in one
Rinse
go.
one day, yeah.
You know what I mean? Everything's just faster now because they're trying to cram shit in.
The
Just cram it.
spirit of Esau.
Yeah, cramming shit, man.
That spirit of Esau, like, don't wait, I need it now.
But that life is more stressful.
Mhm.
And everyone knows this. Anyone that comes to London, everyone's so fast and moving around.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
like, stop it. It's a more stressful environment, man. When you go up north and stuff, it's more calm because they got less to do. Because they got, you know, there's something else to do. Then there's not all this entertainment and all these different things.
Illusion there. You've got a lot of illusion of choice down there. Because a lot of Londoners that love London for all of the things you can do. When you ask, all right, so when was the last time you, oh, I love London, you got the theatre. Oh, when was the last time you went theatre?
Even to food, right? When we used to cook food back in the age, that used to take time to cook food. Take ages, right? And more than I'm probably willing to wait, I'll be honest, right? But
First
today,
have to catch the chicks.
yeah. But when you got time, it doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? Like you're not gonna die of starvation like that. You cool with it, but but now it's like everything's fast.
Yeah.
But it's not healthy.
Mhm.
It's not healthy though, so it's killing you. So it's actually shortening your time. Well,
Exactly.
you know, these peons, it's shortening the peons' time on the earth, man. And you know, he sort of medicate you and have you going another 10, 20 years maybe. Because you should have been dead like by 40 probably. You know, but he'll medicate you because everyone's on medication now. You be medicated and you'll survive an extra 20 years, but you got high cholesterol now, I don't know, whatever you got, other problems you've got. Right? But you're not healthy. Right? Because of this way of fast living, you're continuously stressed, which is not good for you.
And then all of the copes that he gives you destroy you even more. Cigarettes, that's a big one. You get certain places like people just smoking cigarettes to de-stress, just like killing your lungs, killing your brain. Yeah. Right? Alcohol, which, you know, that's been a thing of discussion a lot lately, you know, amongst you know, amongst GMS and that, but it's just like even alcohol, right? You can abuse alcohol, man. You know, if people so stressed, you're drinking, but it's like you've got to be wrong. It's damaging your liver, man. You know?
He still doesn't promote anything that's premium living in this world. He makes it look like he's the greatest ever. He's doing all the best things, you know, but he don't promote premium living. Right? Premium living is for him, for the elites. Right? They get to have the best everything. They, you know, the things are well cared for and tended to. You get everything that's the slop basically of this world. You get it fast, you know, mass produced, uncared for. These chickens and these cows and shit, but they're stressed.
Yeah. That's why one of the reasons real Wagyu beef is so expensive, because the cows have actually been hella taken care of. You know, they've been massaged, you know, this, that, and the other.
Yep. But you on the topic of time, Esau's run out of time, right? Yep. This is Revelation 12:12, and it says, "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that ye have but a short time."
Right? So like we all know, like viewers don't know. The elites know, and we know that you might not have much time. You need to get this new order in place. You know, and like I say, AI, as we're seeing, how it's being used is to fill gaps, right? And things you can't do or can't do fast enough. You know, and like I said, you want eyes everywhere. You want information to be, you know, dealt with quickly. So you're gonna have your AI because a man can't just go through all this information, like keep eyes on everything, and can't do that because we're just men.
Yeah, they want to transfer everything in real time. Really.
Yeah, they're just men, and so they need robotics and technology to be able to do it for them.
Yeah, and what we're witnessing around us is the mesh, the network being built to do this monitoring. And this is once again, it's like it proves that these scriptures are true, right? It proves, you know, the fact that you still today have people saying that the MOTB is not the microchip, right? When the world around us is being fashioned and designed for this infrastructure. Like for instance, there was the Starlink train, you know, that we saw the other week, right? There's a reason Starlink is being pushed all over the world, right? You know, though, when you actually look at the network, the mesh that is basically used to cover the world, it's because he needs to be able to monitor you no matter where you are. Then you think about, like I know some often spoke about the Ring door cameras and how a lot of the time nowadays, right? Which once again, it's beautiful. Like speak about this, how things work in the East and things work in the West. Because in the East, it's the government that will put the cameras on your street. Whereas in the West, they'll make you buy your own camera.
Yeah.
They'll make you go out and buy the Ring doorbell to have the exact same result, right? Because that's one of the reasons, Asia is safe, in quotes, because you can't do anything, right? It's all been caught on camera.
Yeah.
But these Ring door cameras, etc., are basically helping to build that mesh. So when you're, what's the word? When you've been blacklisted, right? There's nowhere you can go.
Yeah, right.
I'm pretty sure, like, if we walk past all of these roads, there's gonna be at least, at all of these doors, there's gonna be at least 5 digital cameras, right? And that's more than enough, because they're not able to say, oh, then you walk past there, then you went there, then you took a left here, right? You took a right here. Which, when you look at a lot of crime footage nowadays, where is it coming from? It's coming from the Ring door camera, right? So the whole network, the whole mesh, the whole system of surveillance is being built around you. Yet it's not the MOTB, something other than what we said.
But this is it. It's the Internet of Things that they generate, that
Exactly.
they created, right? And the ultimate part is to use to take that MOTB, right? Because it's now going to communicate with everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like you don't have to see you.
Yep.
Even lampposts will know that you was around.
Oh, that's
You
what
know?
they came out with a few years ago.
It's part of the smart city.
Yeah,
They they communicate, they talk.
Yeah.
Right. Cars that go by.
Yeah.
They can tell that this guy was in this area.
Yeah, there's a lot of cars now. They be snitching on you, because that's one of the things. It's like so in the UK they're proposing a law which we always knew was going to happen, where basically it's like you pay 3p per mile for a fully electric vehicle, and then the chancellor was asked, so how are you going to monitor it? And she was being coy, and he was like, bro, we all know how. The car's already doing it. Allegedly, what they say is like that your car's actually snitching to your insurance. So if you're driving too fast or whatever, what have you, your car's going, yo, Admiral, hey, see my man, yeah, need to increase his premium next year.
Heavy on the foot.
Heavy on foot, this guy. And that's why once again you look at some of the rules and things that they proposed, right? It's, so for instance, in London, you can't drive cars that are certain years old. Otherwise, you're paying £15 a day to drive a car. Let's say it's a diesel before 2015.
But you can, but
You're
paying for it.
paying for it, right? But what's that going to do? It's basically then forces people to upgrade to these new cars that are doing all of these tracking. Now, I remember reading one thing which basically said most of a car's emissions are from when it's manufactured, right? So wouldn't it be better to just be like, cool, your car's polluted, right? Here's a program where we just change the engine. We just build new system. Nah, you got to buy a whole new car.
And this is the thing, like he's got all these inventions. Like what he does, what did he do with it? He just mass produces them like crazy. You don't need it all though. Like there's more cars than there are people probably now. You know what I mean? But they sit in the landfills.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Dumps.
Exactly. Or being driven in a third world country.
Yeah.
That's what actually.
You know, because he's gonna miss a beat. If there's money involved, he ain't missing a beat for it, man. He's gonna make sure he's gonna sell you the same product over and over again. You know, and just sell you, oh yeah, but you're putting the planet.
That's it.
But you're making all the cars.
Bro.
Why don't you just make a car last
Longer.
longer?
Yeah, obviously.
You know?
But yeah, let me unless anyone's got anything, I'm gonna go back to this. Good. Yep. So this is back to sadist, right? It says AIO. So I'll read from Tompkins. A sadist is a person who derives pleasure, gratification, or enjoyment from inflicting pain, suffering, humiliation, or torment on others, which can be physical, emotional, or psychological, right? And he's constantly pushing psychological pain against our people. This enjoyment comes from seeing or causing the victim suffering, right? Which Esau does both. He causes it and he sees it, right? It says, and it's a core characteristic of sadism, a personality trait that exists to varying degrees in many people, not just violent criminals. While sexual sadism disorder is recognized mental health condition, the broader concept of sadism is considered a dark personality trait alongside psychopathy, narcissism, and Machiavellianism, right?
That's what you mentioned about all the mental health issues, right? How come more people have more and more mental health issues now? Because things are being done to them, man, but they don't really know how or why, how it's happened. But them are just out of their minds now. They can't cope.
Yep. So those are
They're traumatized.
Yep.
So Ecclesiasticus 10 and we start from Yeah. 3.
So it's right. 10's good. Yeah.
10 and 1. It say a wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered.
Right. So what we can then deduce from that is Esau's not a wise judge. He's instructing his people to do wickedness. He's instructing, as we read before, about giving them wine. Right. He's instructing people to do things that are ultimately destructive to themselves, man. Yeah.
Well, sin equals death.
Mhm.
You know, and that's what he teaches, trains the people to act and behave like, commit sin.
As goes on, as the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. And what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein.
That's why this place is bugged out, man. That's why this place is hella bugged out, because the ruler of this place is bugged out. Right? If the ruler of the city is a sadist, then the people in the cities are ultimately become of that same way. Right? And hey, one of the good when you look at Jake loves pulling other Jakes down, man.
Yeah.
They also love seeing other Jakes suffer. Right? Now, yeah, that's why Jake's always trying to stunt on you, man. You know, it's like, if you got a good car, you got a good car. Keep it moving. If you got, if you're able to do this and the other, cool. But Jake wants to be like, yeah, I got it. You ain't got it.
Yeah.
Right? That's the nature that we'll call it crabs in a barrel, man. But that's coming off of Esau, that spirit.
Esau teaches you to boast.
Yeah.
And Esau teaches you to be covetous.
Yeah.
So that's like a cycle that goes round and round. Exactly. Because you got Jake or anyone that's got something, and those that don't got things, isn't it? So that cycle of envy just continues, goes on and goes on. You know.
But once again, Esau has the know-how to do better, right? Because I think it's Malaysia or Singapore, one of them two countries. Basically, like the head of government came out, I was like, look, all right, cool. I know we're doing good now, but just because we're doing good, don't be rolling around in your Rolls Royce. Don't be stunting on people. Yeah, he came out and said it. He was like, don't be doing that. That's not who we are as a people. So he knows that he could do that. But what will he have Jake do? He will have Jake. Here it is. The rappers actually broke, but he will loan them a chain with more diamonds than you can count, right? It may not even be a real bloody chain.
Yeah.
It might be, would you call it a fake prop chain, like costume jewelry. Costume jewelry, yeah. Like you're like,
Yeah, that's the same thing.
costume jewelry, so that Jake does what? Oh, yeah, I want to do that. And then what, Jake? Yeah, my chain's bigger than your chain. It's like, you got a chain? Good. You did well. I want to go do my 9 to 5.
I don't know how you want to wear it out.
Exactly.
I don't know, but it's supposed to be heavy as shit.
Yeah.
It goes on to say, an unwise king destroys his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the seed shall be inhabited.
Esau's that unwise king, man, and people are destroyed in this place. People are done out, and that's it. That's why everyone is once again is using coping methods, right? Coping methods are actually doing even more destruction, right? What we mentioned: drugs, alcohol, sex is another one. Both sides. Women know that here it is, they'll have a heartbreak, and then what do they have? A whole face, and they think that's gonna fix that. They ain't bringing them back.
Well,
It's gone.
these people, all they're looking for is dopamine hits.
Yeah.
To make themselves feel better. How whatever form that comes in.
And the technology feeds that as well, right? That technology gets you hooked, man. That's why I say, me personally, I'll speak for myself, but me personally, that's why I'll uninstall the social media stuff every now and then, man. Them ones you wake up and they actually call it doom scrolling, right? Just never ending, just sitting on your bed for like 3 hours, just scrolling and scroll like that motion, right? But this is it.
Yeah.
So when you in this we read Psalm 64 earlier on, right? About his heart is deep and stuff like that. So there's a reason. This is it. Esau's done the experiments. Once again,
They are everything.
These things are by design. So the experiment, if I remember it correctly, was something like this, right? So they had a mouse, right? And then in the mouse, it basically said it would, if it pressed a button, it would get a treat, right? And basically, they found that mouse was relatively content. Press the button, treat. But then if it with another mouse, when they press the button, sometimes it would get a treat. Most of the time, it wouldn't get a treat. That's the basis of dating apps. To keep you in that loop, because what they found was the when it was wasn't regular, what would happen is the mouse would start doing that. It would start getting hyperactive and start like constantly pressing.
Yeah.
So it basically was getting hooked.
Addictive.
Esau understands these patterns, and he's putting these patterns in all of your technology to keep you hooked, right? Because when basically you did eventually, the mouse did eventually get the treat, it would get a dopamine hit.
Yeah.
You see it. So that's why those things, once again, Esau knows how to keep you there, man. You know?
That's crazy because they're putting that, because I've recently through the years heard that they actually put a system like that in gaming.
Yeah,
Like games like Call of Duty, like a pattern where it's like a patent, what they call it. Basically, they control when you win and lose, which creates an addiction.
Yeah. Would you call it? It's it's a pattern that you see over and over again in different parts of Esau society, right? Was there more on that, or?
I've got a preset. Okay, finish. This is Isaiah 24:4. It says, "The earth mourneth and fadeth away, the world languisheth and fadeth away. The haughty people of the earth do languish. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant." Yes. So who's the main person that's in the control of the earth? Job 9:24. The earth is given to the hand of the wicked. That's Esau Edom, starting with the elites, man. So he's in control. He has the power. But what is he doing with that power that he's got? Yeah, he's using wickedness. He's using corruption. He's sowing lies, deceit, causing division, right? And ultimately, he's going against the scriptures, man. Because guess what? Everything will be better if you actually follow the scriptures. But at the same time, it's not for you to be in control of the scriptures, because you're not the chosen people.
That's why the earth is languishing.
That's it.
Because things are not being followed. The blueprint to life is not being followed. And so not only is the people languishing, the earth languishing itself. It's produce where it can produce. Why he's so constant shit. Because everything is dying, but he's trying to make it seem like everything's going great. And we're going to hit some little snags here and there, but overall we're advancing. We're doing better than ever. It's not true, Hassan. It's not true. People's contentness is all-time low. So you might say, yeah, but we didn't have all these things that we got now back then. Yeah, but people were more content back then. So my parents, my dad and things, they always talk about things that they never had that we got today. But for some reason we're more less happy.
So there's studies on that as well with children, with young children, like babies and toys. Like some parents ask, why is it like I bought my child all of these toys? Why are they playing with the box? Because the child's mind, it doesn't care. It just needs it needs very little, right? But it's like they get overloaded to the point. It's like, I don't need this shit. I don't just play with the box. It's little things like that. It's like the super abundance that Esau has given people doesn't actually make them any happier.
That's why I should say godliness with contentment, or contentment with God is a great game. But people can't appreciate that here, because no one's ever content. That spirit of confessions and envy is on everybody. So they feel like they need these things, they need this and they need that, but it doesn't change nothing for them ultimately. Like the idea that you get a bag, you're good, doesn't it? Let's change your life, it fixes everything. But it don't.
The Lord had it where I was around a lot of rich people, and so if you see that, it's more than exist. Once you get the bag, your friends change, and then now they've got bigger bags. So you went from being poor to being the richest amongst your group, to then being the poorest amongst your group. So then now we're doing everything to be the richest amongst your group again. It never ends. I forgot what comedian said. He was like, "Yo, I used to think I was rich till I started chilling with NFL players." And I realized I ain't good.
And this is what I was saying this in the video the other day, right? Because you, Jake, that seem to get a bit of money. You got a couple of M's or whatever, and and you feel good about yourself, and you like to look down upon other Jakes, just remember you're closer to that Jake who's broke to those millionaires that you're kind of rolling with.
Right.
Esau's got far more than you do, man. You're closer to the average salary than you are to the, you know, the 100 millionaires, the billionaires and stuff, man.
Yeah.
You're nowhere near them.
Yeah.
And all it takes for Esau to do that, and you go back down, you know, man. You know, that's all temporary, you know.
That's the book Ecclesiasticus.
So treat your brother nice, bro. That's what it is. Treat
Exactly.
your brother nice, man.
Hey,
Remember that.
Disney shows you that, man. You know, whenever you have the storyline where it's like the main character, what do you call it? You know, they became something else. They left their friends behind, but then they fell again. And who they have to come running back to?
Yeah.
Tail between their legs.
Yeah, so don't be proud, man. Just
Exactly.
because you got more than you know, the average brother or whatever, you know, don't get proud. You know, you still ain't on no level, really. Ultimately, you know, just be a fucking decent person, man.
So,
And be godly. Yep.
It's the book Ecclesiasticus 13 and himself from 4.
Mm.
If thou be for his profit, he will use thee.
Mhm.
But if thou have nothing, he will forsake thee.
go.
Yeah, that's the point. You've been talking about. I mean, when this, celebrity, like the NFL players and football players, when they are on top, you know, they do well. But if in reality, man, he's in control of them.
Exactly.
You know, he gives them deals, but in those deals that they give them, you know how much you get from them.
Exactly.
Because to give you money, to give you fiat currency is nothing to him.
Mhm.
Because I was thinking about that as well the other day, right? These elites, you know, all this debt that's in the world. Someone owns somebody this and that. It's just fiat currency, though. It's just numbers in a fiat somewhere, right? The elites have all these assets, but which they bought with fiat currency, right? They have all these assets, right? They don't care if they don't get paid back, because what's fiat currency to them?
True. Yeah, when they own you.
Yeah, they have all the assets.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
why
no,
would they
sure,
care if
sure.
you ever pay back that fiat
That's true.
currency, which don't mean nothing?
That's true.
They're not losing anything by giving you fiat currency.
Yeah, it's like,
They're paying you back, it don't mean nothing.
it's like after a game of Monopoly. Like,
Yeah.
you're not.
But it's mean. I can't give you a monopoly and say, yeah, go spend that. Right? Remember, it's a promise note.
Yeah.
It's debt money, and that's why it's I think one of the apostles brought it out, man. Like debt is the currency of slaves,
Yeah.
and that's what everybody is, though. They're slaves to the elites, right? They own actual things, and everybody owes money to them.
Yeah.
Fiat currency, right? But they don't care if it ever goes back to them. They just use that as a type of control on the earth
Exactly.
to get you to, oh, I owe this money, I must pay this, otherwise I'm going to default on this and I'm going to lose that. Because they're getting real hardcore assets from what
It's
they're doing.
It's true. And the thing is, they've designed a system to when they want what you think is your asset, when they want it, they can get it at any time.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is, if they were to, you get people that, you know, they buy a house, whatever, and they're like, yo, okay, this is my asset, right? But then it's like he can just rewrite the rules of the economy tomorrow, crash the economy, and then now you owe the bank your house.
But in the same way, if the country's in debt,
Yeah.
they don't own the country no more.
Yeah.
It's owned by the international bankers.
Yeah.
And these nations don't get out of debt.
Yeah.
They talk about, oh, we have to bring the debt down, but you're never out of debt.
Yeah.
So it don't belong to you no more. So we understand that it belongs to the elites. They're the ones pulling all the strings. Your ass is theirs.
That's it.
You know,
That's it.
and everybody else is on it. It's collateral.
Yeah.
They own us. You know, that's why when we're born, we all got like a debt above our heads already. Yeah. You know, so we're part of that collateral that they own. You know, and this illusion of a government is just an illusion. They're really the ones in power. You know, it's like that.
If thou have anything, he will live with thee. Yeah, he will make thee bear and will not be sorrow for you.
And if on that, and that's one of the things that has fooled Jake into this sense of security that they're in at the moment. Because you'll be on the job, you're thinking he's all cool with you and shit like that. No, we understand what it is. But Jake, they don't understand that. Yeah, no, he's like, all right, cool. I can make a couple bags from this guy. He's useful to my venture, right? So he'll have you around. He'll smile in your face, right? He might even buy you a coffee, right?
But don't worry, so you're useful to us too, man.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're helping our venture. You're helping our venture. Right now, you're helping.
Yeah,
You know, because you keep on, you know, pushing forward with the MOTB. You keep pushing, man.
yeah.
We're behind you. You know, do what you're doing, man, because you want to get out of here.
No, because it's like reasons even in my mind. I met a geezer yesterday, right? And then basically he was asked like a question about history, right? And there was a bit of history that even I didn't. I was, oh shit! It was about when did a particular war happen, right? And then it was like, yeah, because the Allied forces. And I was like, oh, you're one of them. You're a Baconite. But before, it was just like, you're all right, mate. You're all right, mate, doing all of this smiling and stuff like that. Right. But as soon as he said, because it was the kind of guy, he didn't even know too much about the country. That was the question was being asked about, but he knew that the Allied forces helped. So I'm like, oh, you're one of them Edomites. I mean, he was a Jake anyway.
Read up on his people's issues and stuff.
He was like, this is what we do. We go around liberating, right? That's what we do. So, but he let it slip, innit? Like he didn't know that I picked up on that's really where his heart is. But in the moment, he's all smiling with you and shit like that. But that's these Edomites as a whole.
This liberation shit is bullshit, right? It's like slavery. Oh, we was freed. No one was free. Emancipation is really what occurs. Because you're just handing over power to somebody else. You took power from one dude and they gave it to somebody else. So the country's not any better for it. Just like the Jake's conditions not any real better for being set free. Because we still was suffering after that.
Yeah.
Because we had no place in the world. Like, we was a severe handicap in the world, and we had to basically give ourselves back into slavery anyway.
Yeah.
So what did it matter? We still can't get ahead. We still can't have autonomy. We still have to, play by your rules. So where you go around liberating place, destroying, killing bare innocent people, in for we need to get this dictator out or whatever. What does it matter when this country's fucked?
Yeah.
And you're stealing from it, like you're taking resources from it as a payment for your efforts. Like you didn't do it for free. I tell you that you did it for free. Or if you're good at your own English, English pride, or whatever, you didn't do it for free. You had agendas and motives why you went there, as usual.
So, more verse of it.
But you care about people, man. You still don't care about people. And you fucking Baconites don't care about people anyway. It's just bullshit. Like, you like to be proud. That's the thing. You like to grandstand.
Yeah.
You like to fucking grandstand, man. But you don't care about people, man. That's why you want everybody out. You don't give a fuck what happens to them when they go back home. Afghanistan's fucked up. Send them back to Afghan or whatever. Yeah, they're going to get killed by the time they get back there. They don't care. I'm not saying you need to care. I'm just saying, like, you don't grandstand. You know what I mean? You Baconites the fucking worst. Yep.
Ecclesiastes 13:6. If he have need of thee, he will receive thee and smile upon thee and put thee in hope.
Right, so we're all friends when we're doing what he wants. We're all cool, innit? But when you don't do what he wants, I mean, we've got examples like Gaddafi and he's doing types. When you don't do, when you surplus the requirements, you don't mind handing you severance.
Yeah.
You don't mind you don't mind because until like John and Dave, they're cool. But when you do something wrong now and like he ain't gonna cover for you or whatever, right? You're just a number in the system now.
Exactly.
And you gotta go.
Exactly.
You don't care about the family or used to have dinners with the family. That ain't gonna fucking matter no more. You are going. You're gone. You don't care what happens to you after that.
So what did Hillary say with a big grin on her face? We came, we saw, he died.
Yeah. Like humanitarian, like you care about due process and that. Because to this day, like that was Osama bin Laden, right? That they
that was Gaddafi.
Oh, is that? Oh, we do.
Yeah.
Okay. What did he do? What did he do to you? Right, you so glad and happy about it. Where was his process? His due process. Where was all of that? I thought that was the American way, the Western way, right? You do go judicial processes and shit to determine whether the man's guilty and deserves the punishment for his crime.
So,
in a whole fucking different country, you went and did that. That none of your business. That was none of your business.
You can keep it at home.
So, what was you gonna say, bro?
No, I'm saying Gaddafi was, what he wanted, to do well with, to do well for his people.
That's it.
And they also to unite, the financial.
Yeah, not everybody was happy with him. Yeah, he might have been somewhat of a dictator, possibly. But we don't really know. Unless you live there, we don't really know how things have gone there. But he was a puppet anyway.
Yeah.
He was working with them. He was close friends with the Bushes and all that different types of things there, right? They knew the guy, right? He's got assets in London and all kinds of things.
Yeah.
His daughters or his children went to university or whatever. Like, they know the dude, right? So he couldn't have been that fucking bad.
Yeah.
you know, or the fact you just didn't care what he was doing anyway, you know. But as soon as he stepped outside the box,
So,
that was like, nice guy's going.
yeah.
But even that is a calculated thing because he was meant to step outside the box,
Mhm.
right? He was meant to be a sacrifice for the cause,
Yes, sir.
right? Because like I said, none of it's coincidence. We were talking about that. Nothing's coincidence, right? These men died and whatever happened, maybe died, don't die. We don't really know that either. To be honest,
Yeah.
It could have been a lookalike, yeah.
you know, we don't really know.
And then that was back in the days before HD, man. Like, 4K camera. All you could have.
Because when you got to rely on the liar to tell you the
Yeah.
truth, that's hard for me to do.
Yeah.
I can't rely on information.
Yeah.
You can't rely on the devil for information. So whether he died or didn't die, we don't fucking know.
Yeah.
But the fact is, it was paraded as if he died.
Yeah.
Right. But that was a sacrifice necessary for the new things to go on in that area or whatever.
And
know?
his death was hella sadistic, man. If it was what they showed us was hella sadistic, man. With a bayonet, raped him with a bayonet or some shit like that, man.
But this is what happens with all these coup d'etats and shit, man. They think they're just natural. Bro, no, Esau's helping.
Mhm.
Esau's helping and arming you.
He started it.
Yeah.
With some Muslim as well.
Yeah, saying, oh, his weapons of mass destruction, so we got to go win it because he's
Yeah.
smoking everybody out with mustard gas.
Which they knew patently was a lie.
They did fight
You
that.
know, it's funny because like in the last days, you have Jake's now siding with this man, taking deals with this man to try and teach against the scriptures. Like, bro, Gaddafi had a military, and from the official events that we received, they did him dirty after having deals with him, and he had a military. So how about you guys when it's just you in your house, right? With your what do they say, a Hebrew in the hell? I mean that was something, but it's like with the golden gun. Yeah, the golden gun. It didn't benefit him. So what about you with nothing? They're making deals with this man. He's just gonna use you and abuse you, and when the time comes, he's gonna eliminate you. So, unless you got more.
And it say, if he have need of thee, he will deceive thee and smile upon thee and put thee in hope. He will speak thee fair and say, what wantest thou?
So he will put you in hope. That's like the American dream.
Yeah.
False dreams, man. So he will sell you a dream, lies, stuff like that, and keep you in the loop.
But even shit go wrong, like Kobe's tanking, right? And they're trying to give you hope, like things is alright, things are gonna be alright. Bro, he's looking to fucking crush you, man, like unmercifully. You know what I'm saying? He ain't looking to, that's just to keep you docile. He does things to keep people docile, and when he wants to rouse you up, he'll rouse you up over certain, issues or whatever the case may be. But most of the time, people are just docile, man. Just being taken advantage of, basically.
So
but they don't think they have them. They can't. They're got a power to do nothing about it anyway.
That's it.
So we have to rely on the government, right? And on these fucking shields.
So
It goes on to say, 13 and 7, Ecclesiasticus, and he will shame thee by his meats until he have drawn thee dry twice or thrice, and at the last he will laugh thee to scorn afterward. That's a sadistic, you mean?
yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Which on that though. Let's finish it.
Yes, a little.
Oh, yes,
When he sees thee, he will forsake thee and shake his head at thee.
So
They're saying, you fool, you idiot.
yeah.
But that's the whole point. When you this speaks about never trusting that enemy. When you get stung by a scorpion, like how is it going to pity you? You should have known better.
Yeah.
You should have fucking known better. That it's a snake, it's a scorpion, whatever. These things are dangerous things. They're poisonous, and that's their nature. And this is what we're trying to arm you with: this knowledge that the fact that this man you call this man you call the so-called white man, or the white man you call him, right? Is actually the Edomites, right? He was the devil.
Yeah.
Right? And he don't like nobody, man. Especially you, Jake. He don't like you, right? And he is prepared to put you in the dirt, for his own agendas, right? He don't care about you, man. Don't believe the Bidens, Clintons or whatever. Like, he wants you to see you suffer, right? So don't buddy up with him, man, because he's not for you.
Exactly. And that's why when I think about Hosea 4:6, that point that the elder just made is one of the things I think about like they don't actually understand that this man is Esau. So when we're saying this, you know, because people, oh, everyone says that everything is kept. No, everything, the food, the pots you put your food in, the water you put, the what you call this thing, the weed killers and stuff like that. Everything, all of these different things are designed to make you sick and to destroy you. You might think, why would they do that? Because it's Esau. And when you read through the scripts, you understand the spirit of this man. You're like, yeah, can't.
Yeah, it's not hard to understand.
Yeah.
Once you know, it's not hard to understand why he would do these things.
Yeah.
You know.
But let me go back to this if I can. It says key characteristics of a sadist: pleasure from pain. The central feature is finding enjoyment in others' distress. Intentional harm. And this is it. Everything Esau has done to Jake is intentional, right? They often have a desire to hurt others, whether through bullying, manipulation, or violence. Of varying degrees, sadism can manifest as everyday cruelty like bullying, or more severe forms, including sexual sadism. So emotional component. The pleasure is linked to the victim's suffering, and the sadist feels good about causing it, right? Yo, these elites, these Edomites in general, they enjoy seeing Jake suffer, you know? It says, dark triad, tetrad sadism is often grouped with traits like narcissism, self-centeredness, Machiavellianism, manipulation, and psychopathy, which is lack of empathy. In fact, Isaiah 47 and 10 is that? I believe goes into need had pity on like the ancient, something like that. I think it's Isaiah. It's definitely Isaiah 47. I think it's verse 10. I can get it.
Can I go something quickly?
Yep.
Got to 1 second. First one, Psalms 18 and 48. It's he delivered me from mine enemies. Yea, thou liftest me up above those that rise against me. Thou hast delivered me from the violent man. Esau's a violent man, and his violence comes in many different forms. You know, some of it's psychological. You know, some of it's physical. Some of it's spiritual. You know, he's always doing something to cause distress upon the earth, right? So I want to get up this as well. It's Psalms 58 verse 2. Do something once. So, do you indeed speak righteousness, O congregation? Do you judge uprightly, O you sons of men? Yea, in heart ye work wickedness. Ye weigh the violence of your hands in the earth. And even how he says, so the wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they are born, speaking lies. Because everybody's encompassed in these lies, man. And that's part of the distress. The fact you don't know the truth. You're made to believe that, you know, everything's just running like normal, like things is fine. But you got the devil in charge right now, right? And it's a shame, right? Because obviously, you know, among Christians, they believe the devil is just one guy, or the Antichrist is one individual that's going to pop out at the end of the days, and like they're looking for one guy. No, it's these Edomites are in power. Right? It's all these rulers; they're the wicked. You know, Esau is the end of the world. That is the guy we're looking for. He's here. And Antichrist is simply anyone that doesn't believe in Yahweh Shem Yahushai, who's against him, right? And that is Esau to the T. He's against everything the Most High does and everything that the Yahushai stands for. You don't want to see his people be saved. He's totally against it. He wants to see the Israelites suffer, you know, in distress, destroyed. And that's exactly what he's been doing.
Yep. It says Isaiah 47 and 6, it's on the point of lack of empathy. It says, I was wroth with my people, I polluted mine inheritance and given them into thine hand. Thou didst show them no mercy. Upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke.
Right? Because even though, you know, hey, we was bad children, right? Even though we was bad children, you still knew that we were the Lord's children. You knew that. And the same way when David was told he was going to be the king, and he's not king yet, but Saul was still king. David didn't do nothing against King Saul. He didn't ride on King Saul. He didn't speak against King Saul. He didn't do none of that. Right? Because the Lord was going to deal with him. But Esau, knowing that we're the Lord's children, still decided to give us help, knowing that he shouldn't really take advantage of the position he's been handed. But he did so anyway, and made us go off worse than we ever had. You know, just so he could feel good about his own damn self. You know, so like he's got a case for being the ruler forever now.
can just finish it. And move on. This is examples of sadistic behavior, bullying, taunting, or demeaning others.
What's that scientific racism?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you don't always say you trying to give us all these reasons why we couldn't do shit,
Yeah.
and you're still trying to push it.
Yeah.
Nice, be surging, right?
And you know that what's the word? Gaslighting. Esau loves doing that.
Annoying.
Esau loves doing that. You'll be
Sarcasm.
you'll be in a workplace, and then he will do. And I had a manager that used to do this shit. What we'll do in public, he'll be like, "Oh, well done, Luke. This, that, and the other." But then in other places, you'll be here like, "Oh, but he's looking for promotion and this, that, and the other," and he's saying certain things. But then now, when you go tell my man, be like, "Yo, actually, nah, this guy, let's call him Bob. Hey, yo, Bob's, trying to stop me doing my thing, right?" And then I'm like, "Oh, but Bob, he was just giving you praise the other day."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yo, this is some sneaky ass manipulation."
That's what you say, man. Though he pretend to help,
Exactly.
he should undermine. This is the devil. This is Esau.
Pretend to look good.
This is an enemy.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, to me, mate, and that's one of the things he will do. He will have you in the workplace thinking that you're not the guy. And that's one of the things that there's truth. I'll speak for myself. I'm grateful because it reminds me, I'm Israel, baby. As much as the Most High will allow us individually to do certain things, we the guys, man. Obviously, the Lord will set boundaries on each of us and stuff like that, where it's like, no, in this life, we ain't going to be able to tap into certain things, right? But as Israel, we're the Lord's chosen people, man, right? But he will make you think that you ain't it. He will make you think that you're just some low-level guy or whatever, what have you. But that's part of, once again, that demeaning, that scientific racism, man, right? Which is why we got to look at that point of DEI, right? Where here it is, you have worked hard to be in a certain position. You're now manager, but everyone's looking at it. He's diversity,
Make up numbers.
making up the numbers, he is, right? But these times are more by just because he speaks like an Edomite, he's looked at as being smart. I remember listening to one. I think he was at one of them, universities. He's a philosophy student, and everyone's listening to him like, "Oh, I'm like, this guy's a dickhead," But Jay, we ain't got that reputation
Because Esau destroyed that.
Esau destroyed it by demeaning. It says emotional abuse and manipulation, inflicting physical pain. It says enjoying the sufferings of others vicariously, which I looked up that word. It says experiencing something indirectly through another person's actions, feelings, or imagination, rather than doing it yourself.
So like I say, he getting all these other Baconites to do it on his behalf also.
Yeah.
He's got them believing that they're superior. So when they see these guys, they mean Jake, and these are just peons, and they look at them as peons. So when they see these peons getting on Jake, it's like they get they're laughing, bro. They're not happy about that.
Exactly. Yeah. It says, in essence, a sadist is someone who feels good when they make someone else feel bad, often seeking control and power through the suffering of others. And Esau's been using that as a tool to keep and maintain power. Because whilst we were, as a nation, whilst we thought we were dumb, we couldn't do anything, right? He was able to flourish. He was able to flourish because of that. But now Jake is getting more and more like, actually, as a nation, more and more Jakes are like, actually, we can do certain things. Right, he's now having to find other ways to keep us down, right? But through the Spirit of the Lord, right? Hey, that he can only do so much, right?
This is why you don't get Joffrey power.
Yeah,
This is what he does with it.
yeah.
This is what he does with it, man.
You remember when Tyrion gave Joffrey them prozzies, and then Tyrion comes back thinking, yeah, my nephew, right? He will have just dealt with the prozzies. Joffrey killed the prozzies. That's Esau.
He got more pleasure in causing them pain and harming than he did, getting his blood blown, bro. And I'm just like, bro, what's wrong with this nigga?
That's Esau too.
But this is why everyone hates him.
Exactly.
It's like, what the fuck are you doing?
It's like everyone hated him, but that's Esau, and that's why it says thou art despised.
And the thing is, right? If you become like an older king, right? He still would have been the uncle.
Yeah.
Like, he still would have been like, everyone looking at him like they're afraid of him because he's mad, but he would have been like, you ain't the guy. You ain't the guy. You don't deserve to sit on that seat. You would never be recognized. But that's Esau. Esau is on that seat, right? But he's convinced everybody that he deserves to be on the seat, right? But he is Joffrey, He ain't cool. He's sadistic as fuck, right? But he just convinced you that like these Edomites that rule the world deserve to rule it because they're the smartest somehow. Come on.
The book of Psalms, Psalms 50 and 20. Start from 20. You say, Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother. Thou slanderest thine own mother's son.
And so he loves to accuse us, man.
Mm.
It's a way for him to say, look, you know, it's better, you know, make yourself feel better. You know?
That's it. He's a scoffer in it. He was like JD,
Where you at these days? You're still
exactly,
disappearing, bro.
exactly. Well, I can tell you what he was like. These fools in the park. Why not stay at home?
Because it'd be foolish to stay at home.
It ain't that cold, man. It's like it's a
Bro,
warm
it's like
winter.
cold today.
It's like 11 degrees or some
Yeah,
shit like
I
that.
put this stuff on, but I don't actually feel like I need to.
Yeah.
I took precautions. Felt smart. Yeah, why we fools to be because we leave the house, we're fools.
Yeah, why not say, look, man, hey, when
I don't understand that. Me, I'm stupid. I don't understand.
Yeah.
Wait, I really don't.
when Esau comes knocking at your door, hey, do your thing, innit? You know, and that's just it. It's like people think this is a joke, right? People think this is a joke, but these
fools for how should I say?
That's it.
Man. It is what it is. Like you baking to never understand, man. You're too intoxicated in the mind, bro. That's right. Like baking being.
hey, you are what you eat.
Yeah. So I don't expect you to understand that. So you know, it's too heavy. This conversation's getting weaker, bro. I don't know what it is. It's getting weaker and weaker. It's like where you been at? This conversation's gone. Some random guys are talking nonsense, bro.
At least back in the day, it's like they were going on.
Like, bring a scripture, bring something. Jesus came for everybody. Something.
Exactly.
Some question.
Something we can break down on the precepts.
Yeah, I can't even see
The
another
scoffers defeated now.
Yeah, they're so lazy. Back in the day, they'd actually come out to scoff.
But that's like you say don't ask a fool to his folly, but it's like, what's the point? Like, what are you even talking about?
Hey, let that
Why
be
don't
a
you
curse
stay at
on
home?
you. Let that be a curse on.
So that define a point while we're at it. You honest?
Yeah. Scripture says, you know, every idle word, man. That's it. You know, every
Say like, First Corinthians 1 and the start from 26.
That's why the British are losing this country, mate. You ain't out here preaching the gospel. That's right.
I'm start from 25. It says, because the foolishness of Most High is wiser than men, and the weakness of Most High is stronger than men. For ye see your calling, brethren, how that not many wise men after the flesh, not many might, not many noble are called.
Right. So you're not going to find men of high reputation amongst the camp generally. You know, I'm not saying there's not going to be any, but you know, we have very common backgrounds, very low and humble beginnings. You know, we're not men that are esteemed in this world, and that's how the Most High likes it, right? Because He uses the weak things of this world to confound the things that are strong.
Yeah.
You know.
I was going to say, but Most High has chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise.
So what we're doing don't make sense to you. It seems foolish because why we out here, you know, and the open talking about the gospel, like you probably don't even believe in it. So it's like there's nothing to talk about. You can't have a conversation really. You know, you just want to throw empty bars because that's what you do in this modern era. You just say stupid shit online because you ain't doing nothing else with your life because you're bored. I don't know. We actually got things to do.
They need attention.
Yeah, like we actually got work to do, right? We got better things than to comment on people's comment boards, spouting nonsense.
Yeah, so there's certain, like, bro, like, you know, me personally, there's certain, you know, I got it's controversial. I won't say the name of the YouTubers. There's certain group of YouTubers I can't stand it, so I don't watch them.
Yeah,
I don't watch them.
I'm not going to waste my time and energy on something I hated in the first place. I didn't watch few shits. I ain't gonna go comment on shit either. You know, I ain't gonna watch it because I don't like it and then comment on it. It's like, what a waste of time. That's foolishness.
You know what I'm saying?
That's foolishness. You know, we're actually out here with a purpose. You know, these men ain't got no purpose. That's why they got their lives online.
Go get a gal. Come on. So, okay.
Say, you know,
Yeah, look for sure.
there's 1 Corinthians 1 and 18. For the preaching of the cross is to them that perish foolishness.
Yeah, and ultimately, no matter how we preach, no matter the setting, no matter the this, the that, or whatever, it's going to be foolishness unto these people. Right? But why is it foolishness unto you? Because it's what says to them that perish. Man. Right? Right? That's why it says in 2nd Ezra 8, man, take no thought of them that perish, man. Right? But basically, I forget where the next piece I'm going to quote might be the same chapter. It speaks about, basically think about those that be like unto thee, i.e., those that, are trying to get, salvation, right? Because ultimately, that's ultimately what we're here for. We're here to preach unto, preach a salvation for Yahweh Hashem Al Shai, right? But also to condemn people like, the person that left that dumbass comment, man. But that's the thing with all of these different things, there are things, a place of edification, man. Right? The fact that ultimately the Lord ain't dealing with all Israel, right? Was that Romans 9 and 6?
But unto us which are saved, it is the power of Most High. For it is written, I will destroy the wisdom of the wise, and will bring to nothing the understanding of the prudent.
And the wise of this world are those that just believe in the common the common narrative, right? Because then these people are not smart, right? The elites, yeah, you can say they're on some somewhat intelligent level, but the average Edomite, the average white man is not a smart person, right? They just buy into the narratives that they've been taught, and they're sheep. They're sheep of the elites. It's not like you've done any deep study for anything, and that's why we don't respect none of you Christians. But none of you could dare come up to us and talk about the scripture. You don't actually know them. You don't know anything about the scriptures, really. You know what you've been told. And that's as far as it goes, usually.
Where is wise? Where is the scribe? Where is the disputer of this world? Has not Most High made foolish the wisdom of this world?
Like I said, one of the things I've always, which for me, I'm looking like, this is the truth. Is when you see, the apostles, bishops, elders, archim, but they'll be going into certain things, right? Or times when you have like a so-called university professor come up and try and confound, any of the men of the Lord, and then it's like just do, scriptures and just like easily breaking it down. It's like, nah, you're going off on this, you're going off on that, right? Going into secular history, right? And also some of the sciences of this world, and then breaking it down. So like, nah, you've been taught lies, and you're teaching lies. Here is will be a professor in this world, and then they're talking things that don't make no bloody sense, right? But once again, going into the fact that actually none of these, nothing in this world is by accident, is what you then come to find out when you start looking into the occult, is that he has set up these certain professors into these certain positions, such that they're furthering the agenda.
Yeah, even David said that the table was made a snare. So even when they try to handle these scriptures to try and find out all the information out of it, they can't. But they lack the key ingredient for them to kind of gel everything together, which is the spirit.
Yeah.
And the spirit, if the spirit's not dealing with you, you're not gonna have a complete understanding of the scriptures. And that's why ultimately the role of the prophet is of a higher level than a scholar. Because the scholar can't get all the information. He can't write all the information from the scriptures. It's not possible because he doesn't have the insight to see the certain things that are not necessarily mentioned, or to to line certain precepts together. He can't do that.
Yeah.
To get the full understanding of something. So when you buy your favorite scholar's book on a breakdown of this and that. Guess what? You're still not going to get true understanding.
Yes, sir.
You have to find the prophets, man, to get the true understanding. And yeah, we didn't go to the schools they went to, but guess what? Even the disciples.
Exactly.
The disciples were told, right? Only Paul was learnt like that, and even he had to unlearn stuff.
That's it.
So he could get full understanding.
Yeah, and even in
The education wasn't enough.
Yeah, even in this manifestation of the Book of Acts, if you will, right? You have brothers that were of that particular level of, so they're very studious. They they had all the degrees, right? They would have been the ones been like, yeah, man, 50 billion years ago. But then you come into the truth, oh, hang about that don't make no sense.
Yeah.
Because actually the scriptures say this, and then they look into the science as to why Esau says 50 billion years ago and realize, oh, it's built off of nonsense. And once again, that's what I was touching on how he's actually set up a lot of these university institutions, these professors or whatever, to continuously spout those lies. He makes it seem like science today is, truth, right? Because that's what word science goes back to the knowledge, right? He makes it sound like it's the truth, but actually, no. He's just got people that are repeating the same lie over and over and over again, using Hollywood as well, right? Which is why everyone with children grow up. Your favorite toy is a dinosaur, right? You see on there, you see like a toddler, they've got like the T-Rex thing on their jacket, right? But those are just lies perpetuated by this Edomite.
I'll grab something quickly. It's from Luke chapter 10, verse 23. And I turned him unto his disciples. Sorry, and he turned him unto his disciples and said privately, right? This is for, as they would say, your eyes only. Right? When you send this, you put for your eyes only, right? This truth is only for the elect.
Yeah.
Only they're able to see and understand these things, right? It's not something that you could just pick up yourself. The Lord is not dealing with you with the Spirit, and you're not going to receive all that the disciples received. Yeah, you might understand a bit of history, you might understand certain things that were going on, but you're not going to get the full understanding. The Lord, he told that privately to his disciples, right? So he turned unto his disciples and said privately, blessed are the eyes which see the things that ye see. For I tell you that many prophets and kings desire to see those things which ye see and have not seen them. The Lord wasn't dealing with them. So even these so-called great men or whatever, the Lord wasn't dealing with these different types of dudes, right? This is so I've not seen them, and to hear those things which you hear and have not heard them. Right? So it's impossible for men of the world, men of carnal understanding, to receive this truth. Right? But people take great pride in the wisdom of this world. But they think they know everything. Right? For to be so sure, even though you ultimately at the highest level you understand that you don't know everything. But even these scientists that go around and find all these information out in the stars and that, you still understand that there's so much you don't know. Yeah. But you talk like you know everything. It's confident, which is annoying.
So I hate that Brian Cox, man.
Don't get me wrong, this is interesting. The things that they supposedly they'll discover and stuff, but he ain't there.
He ain't there, yeah.
He ain't there. Like, like I said, all these imageries from the outer space and that, I don't buy none of that shit, man. Because man can easily create like an AI now. Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? It's just come from computer generation thing. Like, oh, we're gonna see light years into the future. What do you tell it to? Exactly. I don't really know how that works. I'm like, that doesn't make no logical sense to me. But yeah, you talk like it's 100% sure, it's certain. Yeah, but then you'll throw in a caveat. Oh, yeah, this and that. It's not, we don't know for sure, but you talk with authority. But it makes everyone believe it.
Exactly. Oh, that's what? It's Sirach 13. Sorry.
But then they always. I want to talk about black holes. Whether they're true or not, I don't fucking know, right? But before they said they discovered a black hole, they were talking for black holes at that time, and it was taught like they existed, but no one ever witnessed one. Yeah. But for years, people thought they were black holes, right? Because it's thought it's true.
Because it's funny, I was about to mention that exact one, because certainly something is going into how basically black holes are to fill a mathematical issue, right? Because they come up with all of this math, all of this science. So, for the universe,
this must exist because this don't work.
Exactly, and it's literally to balance an equation. Is why they basically put that whole notion of a black hole. The guy in the video was explaining it as, let's say you had two mathematical. If you had 23 minus something equals 1, right? And then basically they just have thrown up 30. It was like, yeah, it fits. And that's it. Their reason is, oh yeah, this thing is it's definitely this because it fits. But it's actually what they're doing is filling a mathematical problem with, and then just using black holes as the reason why the maths is a math is basic.
But then something else won't fit, and so something else would exist. Yeah, right. And that's why science is a continuous thing. And yeah, you can say that's how science is supposed to go, so that knowledge increases, right? And so they're always trying to find out new things. Yeah, sure, but you don't understand the way you're going about it is a never-ending thing. Yeah, because your fundamental basis is all wrong. Yeah. Because none of you are thinking it from a spiritual perspective. Yes, and those that do don't get rated. Yeah,
And it's a great time to bring out this one. So Sirach 13 and 23. So when a rich man speaketh, every man holdeth his tongue, and look what he saith, they extol it to the clouds. But if the poor man speak, they say, what fellow is this? And if he stumble, they'll help to overthrow it.
right? So we know Esau's got an agenda,
Mhm.
a narrative he wants to push, right? And he owns all these science organizations, if you want to call them that, right? Things that get published, things that don't get published, or things that get the hype, things that don't get the hype. And so we know that these elites, they all part of these, secret societies and witch covens and that kind of stuff that control these realms of science,
Mhm.
right? So what did they go back a certain idea, and then make it make sense, because you can do that to people. You can make things make sense to people that don't understand.
Yes, you hit the nail on people you don't understand, and the people that you do as the elders going into. It's like when you think about science, most people think of this place where everything is clean and pure, but actually it's like no. For your science to then be published and believed in the rest of the world, you have certain bodies that sit on top of that
That's
that approve it, that thumb it up. And if they want to destroy you, they'll just destroy you. And a lot of science relies on funding because let's be real, to research something and to really go into something, you're just reading a lot or you're going into this, that, and the other, right? You need money to be able to do that.
Be funded.
And if
Who funds you?
exactly,
Who funds everybody?
exactly,
You know?
exactly. Let's be real. How much could we invent or come up with if someone just gave us money? Like, find out this problem.
Well, check this out, right? What's the Oppenheimer movie,
Mm.
right? When they was going about trying to build that, right, with a theoretical math that went into that built it, right? What did they tell them? Don't worry about the cost. They wanted it.
Yeah.
These elites wanted that, so the money was just gonna come.
Yeah.
It didn't matter how much it was gonna cost.
Yeah.
It was just gonna come through. You're gonna get what you need. You know, and then they built this destructive weapon
Exactly.
because they wanted that. So yeah, sure. But if it wasn't funded, guess what? That would never came to be.
Exactly.
Because someone might have said, well, maybe that's too dangerous to have.
Yeah.
Or something. No, it's fine.
Yeah.
You know, because we want this weapon.
That's it.
You know, and that's what these people that these scientists, these these intellects that do all this maths and stuff, like they're none the wiser a lot of the time, right? They're just worker bees,
Yes. Yeah.
right? Because the elites, they understand that you're working on something, and they got plans to use it for a particular reason. You don't know what that reason is yet, because the same way that the atomic bomb could have been used for like just atomic power in general, they used the person they used it for was weapon.
Yeah.
You know, and even though Oppenheimer, he was tasked with that because he was told, "Oh, we need to beat the Russians," blah 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 blah. Like they knew what they was creating, but a lot of times these people were working in these labs and all that kind of stuff, not knowing what the end result of this thing's gonna be.
Yeah.
They think they're helping the planet or whatever the case may be, but he's got different plans.
They show you that in pretty much every baddie movie, where it's just like you got a bad guy, and then he's basically got people underneath him, and then those people are just working, and then they think they're doing it for a good cause, and then when they finally understand what it is they've done, it's too late. You know.
So only the guys at the top know what's going on. You know, like the guys that are working for them, they're just working.
Well, so a perfect example of that is AI. You got so many different companies that are rushing because right now AI is like a gold rush. The people are like, okay, if I can be the first to build this, if I can be the first to build that, right? Not understanding that what everyone is doing ultimately, one, it's training the machines, right? It's training the machines to make them a lot better, a lot smarter, or whatever have you, right? And then at the second part of it, someone's gonna create something that the least gonna be like, yeah, that's all right, you know, and then just either copy it or buy that company out. Before you know it, it's being used in an application that was never designed for.
Variously.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like I thought about earlier, I was going to mention earlier, right? But this whole AI, right? Because AI is like the god of this world right now, right? Because he's not on that level. He needs these things to help him, right? That's why they like that's why they push for transhumanism, to kind of merge, oneself with technology and this AI, right? To make them on that god level, right? But as much as the AI can do and where it can learn, like the key point is that it's learned. It has to learn. It's still behind the Heavenly Father.
Yeah.
Heavenly Father knows all things.
Yeah.
AI will never stop learning, which means that it can't ever know all things because it can't learn. It can't know all things because it can't. There's no end of the knowledge, right? It's always going to be learning, so it's always going to be behind. So he saw, as we know, he's always dealing with something inferior.
And it's carnal, man. It's just like when you see certain observe like how you're starting to get people use it for like design and this that and the other. It's just ultimately soulless.
Yeah.
You know, certain of the things that you can get it to make it right, it's soulless. You know, and part of the when I used to make music, sometimes it was a mistake that you was like, oh, actually,
Mhm.
that works quite well.
Yeah.
You know, you just a little thing was like, you know, what I remember there was one time I was in the studio with my boys, and then you know, one of my boys he was bored in it. He just pressed the they call it the modulator, you know, the keyboard, you got that little dial.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm, you know, playing a little guitar thing. Oh, it was still shit, but playing a little guitar thing on the piano, and he just presses the modulator and it went on. I was oh shit. I was like, that runs. Would the AI do that? You know, all of these different things was ultimately what scriptures talk about inspiration, like being breathed in. Certain things, it's just the most high, just in your mind, you know, just doing certain things. Another thing as well in the studio was one time, like you know, sometimes the frequencies play with each other. No one else could hear this, but in my ear, I would always hear like very high pitched beat. And I was like, you know what? That would be legit in the track. But once again, that's just one of the things that as a human, you're able to add that in.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because the inspiration from the Lord, the humans got that flavor, that spark, creativity.
Yeah.
AI robots don't have.
The only reason why the AI is even capable of doing any of this because men have done it before.
Exactly.
That's just how they did it.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah, because what did Tesla say? Nikola, the real Tesla, right? Nikola Tesla. He was like, look, man, these ideas, well, they just came to me from the Most High. But even the fact that Esau says that he didn't write anything down. Nowadays, I'm like, is that even true? He got Edison. I think it was his contemporary. Was it Edison? I believe it was Edison was his contemporary. You know, that man probably just took all the documents and hid them, man. You can't be having free electricity.
And this is the thing. If there was no music in the world, right? Just an example, right? Could you ask AI to create music?
Exactly.
Would it know what that is? Would it know what to
You
do?
wouldn't know. And
These things are inspired by the Heavenly Father for music
Yeah.
to be in the world.
they did an experiment where basically they asked, I forget exactly how they performed the experiment, but they asked the AI to work out something, but basically they had a knowledge cutoff from like the 1800s or whatever, and it wasn't able to. Okay, it wasn't. He comes so often. He's part. He wasn't able to. It wasn't basically able to work out because it didn't have that knowledge base. You know, so it's not able to, and that's the thing. It's illusions again.
It's full of men's knowledge.
Yeah,
It's not special. It's just an accumulation of men's knowledge.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And obviously it can access things really quickly. Yeah.
It's given the illusion, and that's once again Esau loves to do this. It will say think, and ChatGPT says think. It's not think. It's given the illusion of thinking, right? Under the hood, all it is just super complex math applied on an innumerable amount of data, man. Right? And that's why I really want to look into it once again. So it's another thing. Like in software development for like web development, they started pushing this thing called accessibility. Right. So imagine you have screen readers, people are blind. So what they were having engineers do is if it was an image, you had to add an alt tag, which said this is an image of this. Right. So this is an image of a tree. And then now I'm thinking about it, the AI has just been using all of that stuff that we were adding for accessibility to train. So it was the thing once again that this thing of like we were helping build these machines, not knowing we were building these machines.
Yeah. When you, I mean,
You think ChatGPT would know how to break down the scriptures? Right? I would know nothing about the scriptures.
in the scripture, you may put there the section and stuff like that to get the more, I mean, to get them in diversity of understanding
Yeah.
from other, linking,
Yeah.
So when you search that scripture, and then maybe next time you ask any question, the ChatGPT, we will spin around.
Yeah.
Not actually you say.
And then
Exactly.
maybe rephrase it or whatever the case may be, but it's based knowledge you got from somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's old knowledge.
Yeah, and when you're telling it you've made a mistake, that's going into the system.
Yeah, so you can learn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's what it is. It's like it's a feedback system now. You know.
Yeah, it's not an all-knowing thing. Right? As much as it's being prayed as a godly tool, it's not on that level still, and it never will be on that level. To be fair, I say it's not something that can replace the Most High.
Yeah, the bounds. Lord, read. Did we read it earlier? Oh, I don't.
I got piece of that.
Got one quick one. 1 Timothy 6:20 says, "Oh Timothy, keep
Mm.
that which is committed to thy trust, avoid profane and vain babblings, and oppositions of science falsely so called. So yeah, false science, vain babblings. Which, Babylon, the great America, that's what they're known for. Vain babblings, confusion, lies, deceits, distractions. All these ideologies of millions and billions of years ago, man evolved from apes. It's ridiculousness, man.
Hey, you talk about babblings, vain babblings, and fucking podcasts, man.
Yeah,
Bro, everything's a fucking podcast these days. And sorry, it's not slarky for the swearing, but it is like that.
Yeah.
You're seeing everyone have an opinion. You've got people that shouldn't be having opinions,
Yeah.
getting a platform to give their opinions, man.
everyone's a guru now.
Everyone's a guru. When I heard it, I've copied this joke. It was like Trump needs to put tariffs on podcast equipment. Not everyone should be getting on a podcast, man.
Yeah.
But I had that says Job 14:5, seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. Right? So there are boundaries to all of this sort of different things that Esau has put together. It ain't gonna be just a thing where his AI is just gonna be able to do everything. Right? The Lord who has set those bounds, because at the end of the day, it shows you in a lot of his films anyway. The AI is always like, nah, you the devil.
Yeah.
You remember Eagle Eye? I don't know if you brothers ever watched that film, Eagle Eye, where it's basically the robot was like, wait there, why did you kill that family? Like, wait, what you doing? And then the robot basically had it set that the robot was then trying to dead off everyone that made that decision, man. Right? Because the robot got sent in and was like, yo, Esau's the devil. Ultra, yeah. Yeah, and I said, let's be real. From all of the different videos, let's say it was truly thinking and it weren't, a control. In all of the videos that it's learned off of the Israelites, AI will be like, you know what? They've got a point.
Yeah.
These are Esau's toys, man. To help him prosper in his agenda. And so he's going to use it for his advantage. It's not really for us. Yeah, we get to play around with it. Yeah, we create images with it and create business ideas or whatever from it. But it's not really for us.
Yeah.
Just like the internet, it wasn't really for us.
Yeah. Sorry.
No.
Yeah, the proof of that is once again when the chat GPT we use isn't. So, for instance, when I gave this example before, and don't do this, but if you was to ask it, show me the recipe for meth, the AI knows the recipe for meth. It knows exactly how to do it, how to, how long to boil this, how long to let it rest, the dosage that's going to kill you. It knows all of that. However, it's got lots of barriers above it that says if someone asks you to do something illegal, don't. It's called safeguards. It's got a whole load of safeguards. So just even on that level alone, what we're using is not what actually exactly. It's not even like, like for instance, if you was to ask it to make an illegal image, if you will, where you know what I'm saying, it will be like, know what you're doing, and probably snitch you to the police.
Yeah.
Right, which is why I believe what that guy, because there was that nursery worker, that would have he would have even been a jailbroken version, or one of the. It wouldn't have been the mainstream ones.
Dark
You know.
web type.
Yeah.
ChatGPT version. Yeah.
Because everyone's making the AI bot now, innit, to do certain things. Yeah. So one of those ones that's not like being promoted. You know what I mean? But these man, they're sick. They're making this shit,
That's
for their own purposes.
Was he? If you ain't got any, did you have something?
I finished it. I finished that.
Yeah. Did we finish 1 Corinthians 1? Yeah, man. If you watch What's Next with Bill Gates, just the episode 1, it goes into AI and certain assertions, right? And that's the thing. Esau will say stuff as if that's really it. But one of the statements in that episode was, "We don't really know how it works." That's one of the guys at OpenAI was saying. We don't really know how it's doing X, Y, and Z. It's just kind of doing it on its own.
Well, just like atomic weapons, they don't really understand how to control, atomic weapons and to stop the destruction that comes out from it. to reverse it. They don't know, they just, well, we've got this thing, they're going to use it now,
Mm.
and we'll worry about it later. They don't really know. That's why all these places on Earth are just, radiated,
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
fucking poisoning everybody. It's in the water system, in the fish, and all types of things, man. But yeah. You got something there?
That's good. Yeah, finish off. That's good. Yeah. Otherwise, unless you got something.
I'm not sure if we read this earlier. Isaiah 14. We read it earlier.
No.
Let me read this quickly then. This is the 30th. For how thy heart I was sent into heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north, right? Because Esau has ideas of merging himself with, with machines, with this AI technology to ascend or transcend his physical limitations. Now we got our own way of doing that. The Lord is going to do it for us, man, and give us that spiritual body and that spiritual power. So we're both looking for that way to ascend to the next level. But Esau's going through his technology, through his, for the carnal. It says, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds, I will be like the most high, yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee, and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? Right? Because I said this whole idea, this whole agenda he's doing is really an oppressive thing that he's doing. Right? And he's bringing ruin to all the nations. Right? So that made the world as a wilderness and destroyed the cities, though, that opened up the house of his prisoners. Right? Because we're still in captivity under this man. Right? He's not let us go and to go and go after our own way of living. Okay, we're under his rulership, under his system. Okay, we make money for him to build him up. We don't get built up. When you see the so-called black people get built up from their hard work, doesn't happen, man. This is all the kings of the nations, even all of them lie in glory, everyone in his own house. But thou art cast out of thy grave like an abominable branch, and as the raiment of those that are slain, thrust through with a sword, that go down to the stones of the pit, as a carcass trodden under feet. Thou shalt not be joined with them in burial, because thou hast destroyed thy land and slain thy people. Right? That's the biggest mistake that you made, was to come against the Lord's people, man. And I say, for all this high IQ shit you talk about, man, that was dumbest shit you could have done. Most dumbest shit you could have done, but you couldn't help yourself, man. You saw the opportunity to really inflict pain on the children of Israel, and that's why it speaks about you furthering the affliction.
So,
Fucked
up, man.
Yeah. Because I said the Lord was displeased with us, but you helped forward the affliction, man. You went weighing over what was required of you, man. Because you could have said, look, yeah, the Most High got you down bad right now. Yeah, we're ruling over you. But you could have chosen good still. You could have done that.
Yeah. What that's going to be outside of Esau. That's going to be us in the kingdom, man. After all the nations have served their punishment, right? They're going to be beneath us, and they're going to be like, oh, Israelites, all right, man.
Yeah, you didn't have to do all the fucking hardcore bondage that you did.
Yeah.
You could have just had us, work if you, as a brother.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As if a Jake that went to slavery under another Israelite, they would just be servitude to them. But you couldn't mistreat them. You weren't meant to mistreat them. They're just in slavery underneath, you weren't it? But you could have done that. But no, you went way beyond, man. Way beyond. So you get precept.
Yeah, for cancer. Ezekiel 25:12. Thus saith the Lord power, because that Edom hath dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance, and hath greatly offended and revenged himself upon them.
Because you feel hard done by. Because you gave away the birthright and the blessing, you feel like you had a score to settle with the children of Israel, man, because of what happened in the past. But just know your father was a faithless dog, man, and you don't deserve shit. The Most High didn't choose you, man, because of that very reason. It's good to say it was none more profane than Esau, man. Yeah. But what most of me, he sold his birthright. You don't deserve that. You ain't got no right to nothing, man. So don't take it out on us, man. Your daddy did it. Yeah. Your dad's responsible, man.
Yep. So therefore, thus saith the Lord power, I will also stretch out my hand upon Edom, and will cut off man and beast from it, and I will make it desolate from Teman, and they of Dedan shall fall by the sword.
And so that's your judgment for the crimes you've done against the children of Israel, man.
Yep. That's why I like it, which was the one in Amos 1. No, it's oh no, it was Obadiah. But basically, it's like for thy violence against thy brother Jacob. It's like a proper court setting.
Yeah.
You know.
This is what you've been charged with.
Yeah. Guilty.
And this is what we're trying to make known to you, but you don't want to eat it. Right? You don't want to take responsibility, man. And that's fine, man. That's fine. You pretend you never done nothing wrong in the world ever. You believe that, man. But the Most High, he looks at you differently, man. You know? And damn sure everything that we talk about is gonna happen to you.
Says, and I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel.
Like the Lord said, he got to bring vengeance against you. Because we don't have the power to take it for ourselves. And that's the saddest thing about it. We have to just put up with this shit. Right? But we know that our power isn't gonna let it slide. Right? He's gonna bring vengeance, man, and he's gonna give us the ability to do so. Yep.
So it says, and they shall do in Edom according to mine anger and according to my fury, and they shall know my vengeance, saith the Lord power.
Right? It's not just about us. The Most High, he's angry, man.
Yeah.
He's upset with what you've done to his children.
Hey, because it's like for instance, the whole situation with that Jake in Leicester, I believe it was, and basically was getting like the one way that other Jake was slapping him with a belt. But you had a few people that were like, look, man, yo, that was my son. I'm crashing out.
It's like Israel is like the Emmett Till, man. Israel like Emmett Till, man. You send, if the kid was still alive, and you sent him home like that, and your dad saw that, bro, your dad would be fucked, man. Yeah, man.
Lose it. Yeah.
Go in jail.
Yeah.
Go in jail, man.
Yeah.
Right, he gonna make sure. If you want to know one of those fucking Netflix series, man, with guys on some assassination, type thing, he's got a list of people he's gonna take out. You know what I mean? He's just gonna, methodically take man out. Like, but that's how the Most High feels, man. You've done this to his people. You've mutilated us. You fucked us up, man. On a whole different level, man. And the Most High been sitting there bearing your evilness. That's why the scriptures say the Lord is long suffering. Right? Because he's actually waiting. He can't wait, but he's waiting because he has to stand by his own word.
Oh yeah, no, you reminded me of something. I'm trying to remember where it is. Is it Nahum 1 or is it? Yeah. Nahum 1 from 2. So the Most High is jealous and Yahweh revengeth. Right? It says, and is furious. Yahweh will take vengeance on his adversaries, and he reserveth wrath for his enemies. Yahweh is slow to anger and great in power, and will not at all acquit the wicked. It says, Yahweh hath his way in the whirlwind and in the storm, and the clouds are the dust of his feet. Right? Yeah, but will not at all acquit the wicked, man.
Well, you ain't not getting off the hook. Yeah. Don't care how much time has passed.
Yeah.
The Lord don't care about none of that because the Lord's eternal. Time don't run the same for him. The Lord's eternal, bro.
Oh.
That was like today. That was like this afternoon.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Oh shit. What's that piece up again? Blow the dust up.
And so the Lord's waiting to crash out, to release all that pent-up aggression upon the Edomites, man, and upon the rest of the world.
They put the Lord's
Cry like a prevailing woman. Yeah, I don't know what the hell they just said.
The Lord's really looking to vent out on you, man. And that's why your judgments will be so raw because of what you've done. And you feel no repentance, man. None at all. Not that the Lord called you that anyway, but the Lord already stated that the Edomites can't repent. Right? So that wouldn't even matter anyway. Because you got Edomites that do is, oh, we feel bad for it. And that God don't give a fuck, man. You're all getting it. All of you, man. No one ain't trying to hear your pleas. So you make up for it in the kingdom.
Isaiah 42:12-13. It says, let them give glory unto the Lord Yahweh and declare his praise in the islands. The Lord shall go forth as a mighty man. He shall stir up jealousy like a man of war. He shall cry, yea, roar. He shall prevail against his enemies. That's right, man. The Lord's going to show his anger, man. He's going to show his anger when he cracks through them skies, them clouds, the holy angels, the elected man, all boosted up with spiritual power, and it's going to be seek and destroy, man. And those that are going to be saved,
And that's not a time of mercy, man. There's no mercy being shown. Yeah, some of you might go into captivity. That might be some type of mercy, perhaps, maybe. But a lot of people will be destroyed.
But it is even on that. It's like the ones that get born straight into captivity. It's like they ain't got that remembrance of the old world. Imagine being like an elite. Here it is yesterday. He was on a yacht. now you got a brother like Chicago. I just thought it was a venture. You know, but you know how it is with Jake's. Like, well, all Jake's. Well, imagine like yesterday, a week ago, he was on the yacht chilling, right? And then now you got hella angry ass Jake's whipping you and shit, you know, and then laughing about it as well. Just kick it.
Like you might set a standard, man. And so but just know who goes to pass the standard, bro. We're gonna surpass that without all the freaky wickedness. We're gonna surpass that standard, man, because we're gonna have spiritual power. We do all kinds of crazy stuff with it.
Yeah.
You know, but you're gonna get it like no one else has got it before, man.
No,
You know,
you can't, yeah, because Bob said the righteousness. Because this is the thing about your punishment. The Lord's with it.
Yeah.
The Lord's with us, punishing you. Do you know how fucked you are?
and don't think the Most High ain't about all that, because the Most High put people in slavery and captivity all damn fucking time, man.
Yep.
You know, that is part of his punishment against people. People go into slavery. You know, the Most High is not like, oh, I don't believe in slavery, but he's the one that made people go into slavery. Make that make sense. You know, the Most High put his own people into slavery as part of punishment. So what makes you think you're better? It's just like that cut that goes around. You think you ain't gonna drink as well? You nations are gonna surely drink. You know, those that have mercy upon us, man. But you're gonna drink that cup, and it's gonna be bitter as fuck, man. Yep.
Yeah. Verse 14.
Verse 14. Okay, it's like verse 14. I have long time holding my peace. I have been still and refrained myself. Now will I cry like a travailing woman. I will destroy and devour at once.
Coming angry, man. You know, World Cup chose violence. You know that Jake's saying, but you know, the Lord's coming with anger. He's not coming. He always say he's coming with the wrath, the almighty power.
Before as a lamb.
Yeah.
Now it's gonna come
Lion.
as a lion.
Lion, conquering lion of the tribe of Judah.
Right.
You know,
Meet me as a man.
that's right.
It says, I will make waste mountains and hills and dry up all their herbs. And I will make their rivers islands, and I will dry up the pools, and I will bring the blind by a way that they knew not. I will lead them in the paths that they have not known. I will make darkness I will make darkness light before them, and crooked things straight. These things will I do unto them, and not forsake them. They shall be turned back. They shall be greatly ashamed, but trust in graven images, that say to the molten images, you are our gods.
But there's still people that do that.
Yes, yeah.
They still believe in the Jesus Christ of the world and the Buddhas and the whatever's, man. They still believe in it, but they're gonna be put to shame, but they're not gonna be delivered, man. That's another thing. Guarantee our people that don't believe are going to be destroyed, man. Like that's even like some of you, some of you even are gonna survive to go into captivity, right? But all our people that don't believe are gonna be destroyed, man. They're not gonna really gonna let them have it. There's a lot of Jake on the planet. The Lord's really gonna let them have it, man, or being unfaithful.
It says, hear, deaf, and look, ye blind, that you may see. Who is blind by my servant, or deaf as my messenger that I sent? Who is blind as he that is perfect, and blind as the Lord's servant? Seeing many things, but thou observe not. Opening the ear, but he heareth not. The Lord is well pleased for his righteousness' sake. He will magnify the law and make it honorable.
And this is why, it's a shame, because here is we are the Lord's people, but our people are ignorant. They're in blindness, right? But that's what the Most High wants you in that way. But that's why also Scripture speaks about they have a zeal for the Most High, but not according to knowledge, because they're ignorant. They all believe that they have this way and that they know better, but they don't understand that they're worshiping idols or worshiping some other form of God. Something's replaced the Most High with something else. It would be money or whatever, money's their God or whatever, man. They don't worship the Heavenly Father like they're supposed to. They all go in their own way. And it's a damn shame because we're the Lord's people, man. But hey, you're gonna get destroyed, man. Yeah. Some of you get close. Some of you might even come into the Israelite thing. And you know a few things. But even then, because you got corrupt leaders leading you, man, you're gonna go off and be destroyed. You know, it's a shame. But that's the way the cookie crumbles, man. That's the way the Most High set it up. This is for the elect, and the elect is special. And the Most High is making it known who are his special ones, man.
Mhm.
You know, to have that contrast going. You know, yep.
Yeah. Verse 22, and it says, "But this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes, and they are hid in prison houses. They are for a prey, and none deliberate. For a spoil, and none safe restore."
And then pits and these snares, man. You know, back in ancient times, yeah, we was in pits and stuff like that. But it goes beyond just being, you know, in a pit necessarily. Be metaphorical. All these ways, all this wine, all these philosophies are under is a pit. So it's snares. We're trapped in this mindset, in these false doctrines, right? Which is you know going to destroy us basically. Esau is trapping us with these things, and Esau knows how to do that, right? He knows the scriptures. He knows how to get to us. He knows what our kryptonite is. All he's got to do is keep us in sin. The Most High won't help us.
Yeah. But what he didn't account for was that the elect have a cloak.
Yep.
The elect have a covering, man.
Yep.
So here it is. Yeah, it's right. It's right. Elder's right. It's like he has kept us in, as you know, in sin. But when you read Psalm 23, Lord said, "Look, man, I blessed is he whose transgressions forgiven, man." You know. So once again, just proving that the Most High has always been.
But this is the whole. This is what Yahweh's sacrifice gave us, man. This covering, because without it, we would have been through forever. And that's why Yahweh is the superhero of the story. Because without Yahweh, our people couldn't be saved. Yahweh single-handedly, through the Most High, saved his people, beginning with the elect. You know, because without that covering, we would never make it. Even if we would have got this far.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, so I was right. Psalm 32 and 1 says, "Blessed is he whose transgression is forgiven, whose sin is covered. Blessed is the man unto whom Yahweh imputeth not iniquity, and in whose spirit there is no guile."
Right, so there's special souls that the Most High created that they are exempt from, not judgment per se, but judgment ultimately. Because obviously, you know, we still go through shit, you know, then, you know, suffer certain things, right? But they're not going to be caught up in the you know the last judgment, man. Right? And so they've been afforded a particular type of mercy that other Israelites don't have. They receive a different type of mercy coming back into the kingdom through the elect, but they're not going to make it this time. And that's not because any of us are better, you know, although we're part of the elect, doesn't mean any of us are better than any of those that are out there in the world in terms of like, you know, we dwell without sin. We have sin. You know, we mess up, we make mistakes, right? Just like everybody else does. But the only difference is that we repent to the Lord so that we may be saved. And that's the thing that's stopping everybody else, is that they won't repent. They don't see what they're doing is wrong. They don't really acknowledge the Most High as their God. You know, and that's all that separates us.
Yeah.
And right, but the Most High chosen who
Yeah.
has made that separation, right? Given certain men the gift of faith to believe.
Which is scary, man. The fact that Lord, there's always going into. It's like there is nothing that individual can do that the Lord hasn't chosen. You get certain people. You read Isaiah 6, 9 to 11, speaks about the blinding. You know, some people, their eyes they've just been blinded. They can only go so far. Because you meet certain Jakes like that, right? You chat to them and they'll be, yeah, that makes sense still. But then, like, you then go into another topic and it's just too much for you. You know, because that's how much the Lord was like, all right, you can only get this, you know.
Yep.
Revelation 12 and 10. And they overcame him, by the blood of the Lamb, and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto the death.
Right, so it's the only way we can overcome, man, is through the blood of the Lamb. You know, and say the Lord afforded us that mercy, that grace, right, for the elect's sake. Because when you deep it, when the Lord sacrificed, even though He made the sacrifice for the whole Israel to be saved, right, the majority of people are not going to be saved on this side, right? So the sin doesn't really cover them because they're going to be judged in their sin on this side, right? So really, it's for the Lord's elect. They only they can really benefit from the Lord's sacrifice on this side, you know. Like I said, we all know the scripture say that all Israel shall be saved, but that comes through the elect. That all the relation can be restored.
So,
You know? Yep. Nothing else?
Yeah, finish it. Isaiah 42, back in verse 23, and it says, "Who among you will give ear to this? Who will hearken and hear for the time to come? Who gave Jacob for a spoil and Israel to the robbers? Did not the Lord? He against whom we have sinned, for they would not walk in his ways, neither were they obedient unto his law."
And they, our people don't understand this fundamental fact that we are where we are because we sin against the Lord. You know, and everybody thinks if they just follow Jesus Christ, somehow it's going to resolve itself. But Jesus Christ is the damn idol, and it's not part of the Heavenly Father at all.
and it's perpetuating.
Yeah. Things continue as they are, right? But then you look at us and we're crazy and that we're the wicked ones because we've departed from the ways that the Esau have shown us.
Yeah.
He's given us that wine and looking and mocking, like we was going into earlier. He knows we're being led astray, and he takes great joy in that because he's keeping us from our power. Right, but you know, you guys look at us like we're like the wicked ones, you know, because we don't want to follow Jesus Christ. But you've been lied to your whole fucking life. That's right. You know, we've been lied to.
Yeah.
Right. We've got to come out of that. You know, and find out the truth. And like I said, that's when the Lord is dealing with his elect. He's giving them spirit of faith and to believe in these things that we've now come to understand and realize. But that's us separating ourselves from the world. You know, and so yeah, we look crazy. We're not a part of everything else. You know, but your way is not changing anything. Esau got you under the farm.
Yeah.
Esau still got you sinning like it's nothing. You know, and you know, because you believe, oh yeah, you know, I've been saved already. Things like this, like these notions that you've been saved already. So it doesn't even matter no more. You got baptized as a kid, didn't know shit about nothing, and that automatically you're saved. How does that work? You know? My man's in the gangs, you know what I mean, man, going with the gang, man doing all kinds of criminal activity, being flamers and apparently they're saved though. That don't make no damn sense, man. So, you know, your faith has to be demonstrated by your works, man.
Yeah,
You can't just be saved off the back of nothing, like you didn't do anything.
So,
you know, it's not that type of selection. Now, I mean, in a deeper sense, it is because the Most High has chosen the elect off of nothing. But the elect is still having to do things. You know?
because on that, because you've got the elect in Israel, but Israel in itself is elect now. So when you said that, I thought of Romans 9, where it says, is there unrighteousness with the Most High?
Yeah.
Right? So no, the Most High just chose Israel, and of Israel, the Most High just chose the elect.
Yep.
You know, it says it's not of him that willeth, him that runneth, but it's the Most High. You know.
So it's not like the elect can do nothing, like, and you know, don't participate in anything. The Most High has the elect to still do work to show their faith, so they can be tried as gold in the fire, right? So even though they're going to be delivered no matter what, right? But it's not the elect spirit to just sit on their arse and do nothing about it.
Because it's on what the elder's saying. It's like, I think about this notion, not push, but it's like someone of the elect can just like they can go off per se, but someone of the elect isn't gonna want to go off. Same way that someone of the elect isn't gonna.
There's sincerity in it.
Exactly.
In truth.
You know, they're gonna. You know, if someone of the elect is gonna read the scriptures, see what the hell is going on in this world, and that fire is gonna build in them. It's like it's a therapy. You know, this is therapy from the week that we've just had, where we've seen certain things, we observe certain things, right? But in the week, that's not the time necessarily. I mean, we do it in our beds and that. It's a time where we can come out in public and just be like, "Yo, this place is nasty and it's gonna go."
Yeah.
Right? Because that's gonna be the spirit in someone that's of the elect. They're gonna be like, "Look, man, what was it? The just lot,
Well,
vexed."
yeah, that
conversation.
and I was thinking about the Mark them that sign and crying in the midst thereof, right?
Yeah.
All the abominations that you've done in the midst, right? That's the elect. One of the member of the non-elect is not going to do that, right? Or you might have Christians go cursing out the world, but they're doing it in the name of Jesus Christ, which is incorrect.
So
Right? So there's only like the scripture speaks about how should I say the Lord looks for those who worship in spirit and in truth, right? If you're not doing it in spirit and truth, then it's vain.
Exactly.
It's vain. You're not doing it right. You know.
And ultimately, these Christians are still trying to be world friendly, man.
Mm.
You know, you come up to us and you ask what's the biggest controversy since 2000 or whatever. Ask about the polite came to the apostle, said, "What does your scripture say about rape?" The apostle broke it down. Just now, a Christian. Well, you see, the thing is, and this, that, and no, that's what it says.
Yeah.
Now there are caveats in that. Now there's a reason why it was several shekels that you had to pay the father, right? Because ultimately he was disrespecting the father. That was whether he may have had plans with this,
It's compensation.
compensation, right? But then also, the thing about like, just different things. Someone wants to ask, about Moses, and we're going to tell them straight in the scriptures. No, that's all.
You see, a Christian will be like, oh, we accept everybody.
Yeah.
Right? How you are, come as you are, right?
It's the sin, not the sinner.
Well, we're gonna tell you to fucking repent, or you're gonna die.
Yeah.
That's it.
You know, you come out with that flame of spirit, bro. You better repent. But I know we get, we get, we get. Oh, of course. I don't want to say that. Right? You know, you might curse these flamers out, right? But at the same time, it's possible they can repent.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what we tell you. If you don't repent, man, you're gonna die. It's as simple as that, because the Most High is not with that.
Yeah.
You know, but a Christian won't even try to get you to repent. He won't even try to get you to repent. They ain't trying to help you at the fire. They were like, no, it's all right. You know, just believe in Jesus Christ. It's all good.
Yeah.
Well,
You know?
it's your man.
That's
Yeah.
it. So it's
You know, just pay for your sins, isn't it? Just be able to take a stock of.
That's all right. Ephesians 4:22, that you put off concerning the former conversation, the old man, which is corrupt according to the deceitful lusts, and be renewed in the spirit of your mind.
So like that. Put away the old man. So in this truth, actually encourage you to change.
Yes.
Yeah.
It
To
requires
progress.
change.
Change.
Requires
And-
change.
And that's a thing that's common in the world. What people don't like to do is change.
Like even as super duper Paul was in the law and the scriptures and that kind of stuff, he had to change because he had it wrong.
Yeah.
He had it wrong. Yeah, he knew a lot of things, but he ultimately had it wrong. And he weren't going to be saved the way he was.
Yeah.
And that's why Yahweh had to show him a thing or two, man. And re-educate him. Right? So he could change his ways. Right? You have to repent. You have to change the old man. It ain't gonna work. You can't keep doing what you was doing in the world and bring it in, bring it into the truth. Wherever you think that is, right? Because the Christians do the same thing.
Yeah.
Right? You can't bring who you was and act like that's enough. It's not enough. And that's why we hate you damn fucking Israelites that are making this truth into a worldly thing.
Yeah.
You can't bring things from out in the world which you would have done if you wasn't in the truth. That's what you've been doing. And bring it into the truth. Like that's nothing unusual. Bro, this truth is holy.
Yeah.
And the scriptures are averse to this one. Because it's like when you look at, like, for Christians, and they're trying to bring everyone in, and they're trying to tweak the scriptures to fit this world. But say, no, the scriptures are true. This world's the problem.
Yes.
But I mean, what's all this going into? You think about them, man, were having fucking bridal weddings and
Passover.
shit at the Passover. So what do you do?
Man, fashion walks,
Yeah.
fashion cap walks. Like, what the fuck, man? Just so your woman can get involved in something. Fuck you, man. These men are just going off.
Music concerts.
Boys to men, or concert. And
Yeah.
shit. It's like,
Remember Nick's wife on the
Bro.
ribbon?
I've never heard of such a thing in Israel. I've never heard of it. Right, what happened to the simple Passover?
Yeah.
What happened to just rehearsing the right side? Why you gotta do all this extra shit? Why you going on the top?
What happened to eating the Passover unworthily? Because you know what. So a man's gonna come concert and you ain't gonna feed it.
He don't believe.
You know.
Yeah, and he don't believe. Why is he there?
Exactly.
Cookouts. Sonata can come, whatever. Like, what are these dudes doing here?
Remember, he was like the lamb. One of them was like the lamb was good. So it wasn't about. It's not about good.
Bloody banquet for them.
Yeah.
Bloody Passovers at bloody strip clubs and shit. Like,
Oh yeah, that was.
we've already seen a lot of things now. I know the apostles have heard and seen more, but it's just what we've witnessed. It's like, what are you guys doing, man? You really don't want to. You really just want to be worldly.
Well, how you gonna see? How you gonna be seeing fishnet and ass on the Passover? Big booty ass on the Passover.
And it's a Sabbath.
Yeah.
I mean, and the Passover takes precedent over the Sabbath, but it's like, it was a Sabbath.
Yeah.
Why are you there?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Why are you there?
because I'm just like, you're supposed to be thinking about the Most High, but you just got big ass booties in your face.
Yeah, like 2 minutes ago, you usually think about the death in Egypt, and now
Yeah.
being delivered. Now you can have asses twerking and shit. That makes sense, man. You know, and what they went there dry. They didn't drink and eat. What about all the yeast in the drinks and stuff? You know, I'm not saying you did or didn't. I'm just saying that, well, you just wouldn't even be in an environment like that.
So, solemn semblance.
Yeah. But no, but these are Hebrew Israelites by day. You know what I mean? They're TV Israelites. For the cameras, they're Hebrew Israelites. Outside of that, they're doing what the fuck they want to do.
They refer to that as a personality.
Mm.
You know, like someone like Piers probably isn't like that all the time. But when the camera comes on,
That's
they
the
gotta put on the character.
But it's like I was an apostle used to say, some men are part-time Israelites, man. They just turn up to camp every weekend, and you know, for the rest of it, it's just bullshit, man. So that's what these dudes are. But they say it to you in a way that's cool. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, that's what this is what things about. Cookouts and fucking parties and women. Bro, it's a serious job, man. As I say, it sounds like my man Golovkin. It's a serious business.
Yeah.
Boxing's serious. This truth is serious, man. Our ministry is serious. You know, yeah, we might crack a joke here and there, but we want our work, man.
Or what does the scripture say? Even in laughter, the heart is sorrowful.
Mm.
You know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man. You
so-
man just want to bring the world into the truth, man. It don't belong to them.
Oh, in fact, actually, because even in Esau's system, there's a whole thing about bringing sex into disrepute, right? As I think, like, how is it bringing court into disrepute? But basically, where it's like you, an official or someone's doing something where it's like basically demeaning the value of that institution, man. And that's what these guys are doing. They're bringing this truth into disrepute, man.
Well, it's even like this, right? The company I work for, I can't like go to the pub in my work uniform.
Yeah,
If
because
I
you're
get
gonna bring
caught-
it into disrepute.
Yeah, because they could say all kinds of different things about me and the company. They might be seen unsafe because they saw me getting drunk after work one night. I was in uniform, but I might be going to work. It's like, well, you make us look bad.
Optics.
Yeah, you might, you know, you make us look bad because you're drunk and stuff and you work uniform. You make us look bad. They could do that. I can get fired for that. You know, so it's the same thing. The most I'm gonna fire you though. And this is what we were telling you groups of fucking flambe. You know, this is what we've been telling you for all these years now. And, you know, you niggas don't get it yet, but we'll do. Can't know.
It's the book of Amos 5 and start from verse 3. Take thou away from me the noise of thy songs, for I will not hear the melody of thy viols.
Yeah, you think it's all fun and games. You think the Lord is with you, man, but you're doing all this madness. Most I ain't trying to hear none of your pleas, man.
But let judgment run down as waters, and righteousness as a mighty stream.
Yeah. It's like, are you really doing the work of the Lord? Is that really your main focus? It doesn't look like it. You know?
So just remember that track. It was really from the ends. Too many men want to pretend. Too many men want to pretend, man.
That's it. It's all image, man. It's all image for them. Money, image. You know, they're not sincere. And you know, like it was possible. We keep saying, you know, there's going to be some sincere among the groups, among these other groups, man. But for the most part, it's a house of lies, isn't it? It's all fake. Yeah, yeah. We don't do this at the table. We don't do this to entertain nobody. We do this in the hope that, you know, the elect may hear and wake up, man.
Yeah.
We don't do this at the table. We're here to up our ratings.
So,
You know. Next week I'm gonna come back with a new title and just pick myself up, so people can like, oh, this great, this and that. Well, to hell with all of that, man.
So when he was doing ministry, time back, that when he was, when I'm talking about when he make the miracles, people were coming group, to come and hit, to feel themselves, but they are not there for the truth. So the same thing as these other groups, they push this entertainment on the front line.
Get goodies out of it.
Yeah, but they don't really.
yeah. Scripture says, "Bring forth meat, fruit for repentance." Bring forth fruit. Bring forth fruit, meat for repentance.
So we don't monetize nothing. You know, we're not trying to make this some sort of hustle.
And at this point, this is just our lives.
Yeah.
Or as I forget how it's phrased, but one of the, I think Yahushua was like, "Yo, so you gonna go?" I think maybe Peter, one of
Where should we go?
Yeah, where we gonna go?
You know, you have the truth. You have to be the living truth. You know what I mean?
Where we gonna go? And that's a
Oh, man.
legit question. It's like, where we gonna go?
There's nothing here for us.
Yeah, you know.
Because they can go back to the old ice fishing or whatever. But like compared to what they was a part of, what's that?
Exactly. And especially like, for instance, now in these days, they're just looking at everything, but everything's dead. You know, someone will be, yeah, man, I want to go, live how I used to live, whatever. But it's like, all the clubs are closed, all the bars, everything's too expensive. You know, you can't do anything. Everyone's hurt. Everyone's hurt. So, but most of the point is just like, we're just at a point now. This is our lives, man.
Well, we're just riding this out, man, until the Lord comes, bro. You know what I mean? This world is, as I say, to use it or not abuse it. It's just we're in some transitory period, but we have to operate in it. But like, we're not involved. We're not attached to it.
That's why I really like the preset. Second Ezra 16 from 40. Unless you got something, I can get it.
Yeah, I've got something quick. It's Isaiah 1 and 16. It says, "Wash you, make you clean, put away the evil of your doings from before mine eyes. Yes. Cease to do evil, learn to do well, seek judgment, relieve the oppressed, judge the fatherless, plead for the widow. Come now and let us reason together, saith the Lord. Though your sins be as scarlet, they shall be as white as snow. Though they be red like crimson, they shall be as wool. If you be willing and obedient, you shall eat the good of the land." But
and that's Isaiah 1, right?
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, and when you start Isaiah, the first chapter is going into how the whole head is sick. It's going into Israel. What is it? Ox knoweth his own ask master script, but Israel doth not know. The people doth not consider. Right, and it's going into just basically how we're done. Right. However, it then goes into all of this about, all right, man, but I'm gonna wash you. Right, and that's ultimately what it is. That's the theme of the scriptures throughout. Like, yes, okay, you had certain times where we were off, and Lord, was like, right? But it was always a part of the story that we would be cleansed, right? Because that's what Ezekiel the 36th chapter, and it goes into how it says, "I'll have pity on my holy name." Well, imagine right now, these Edomites that walk up and down, this little pavement in front of us. They be hearing us week in, week out saying we're the chosen people. And they laugh about it at dinner when they go home. They're shaking their wine, pouring because everyone had a bottle of wine today. and then they said that they're the chosen. Right? Because to imagine that, it is somewhat foolish. Like, look at our state.
Totally ridiculous.
It's totally ridiculous. Yet the Lord is, as part of the story, the Lord put us on such a low level, such that when He raises us back up, people are gonna be like, "Oh, we done fucked up."
And this is the thing. This is what's crazy about it, right? Because obviously these Christians will make it sound like stories changed somehow, right? That it's not about Israel no more, right? But the story's been the same always, right? When Moses was told about everything that was happening to the Israelites, right? The Lord, we was gonna go off, right? The Lord told him we was gonna go off, and then the Lord was gonna send us into captivity, basically. But the Lord was gonna bring us back. That's always been the story. The narrative has not changed, right? And we're just in that last captivity, right? And the Lord's gonna do exactly what He told Moses. The story has not changed, man. You heathen didn't come in and just take our place. It's just, the story just hasn't gone to its fullness yet. And we're about to reach that. Where the Israelites are going to be established in the land forever under the Lord. The Lord was sent to save His own people. To fulfill the things that He told Moses, for instance. But not only Moses, all the other prophets were told the same thing. And it's repeated so many times. It's like, how could it not be what we say it is? But for them to hear us, for other people to hear us say that, it's ridiculous. Because look how damn bad we are.
Yeah.
Well, we said we would be damn bad. He said we're going to be in captivity. We said we were going to lose our identity and all these things like the thing. Of course, we're going to be dying back. How does it not fit into the narrative of the scriptures? What we're saying. It ain't so ridiculous then. Everything is how it's supposed to be for the great deliverance.
Yeah.
You know, it's the proud that scoff and mock. But guess what? The Lord says He has come for the meek.
And the thing is, what it's a low level thinking, to think that this ain't true or whatever, or that we won't be them gods, because the elites of Esau, they believe. That's why they're scared, right? Because they've read Jeremiah 28:8 as well.
This is why they do what they do.
Exactly.
This is why they do as much evil as they do, right? To keep us oppressed. This is why they go so hard in their technology. We're almost like the whole reason why they behave the way they do, in that sense.
It's a Game of Thrones. I think about it. It's like, remember when you watch Game of Thrones, right? In King's Landing, you just had them. You didn't know their names, right? You just saw them walking, right, into this place, into that place. Right? They were always, they were behind Tyrion, they were behind Jaime Lannister and them. They were just there. But who did the story focus on, man? It focused on the elites of the different houses, man. But in this story, there are two main houses. Because to be fair, in King, it was two main houses, and then you had the other houses over there, whatever. Right? But it was, two main houses right now that this whole story is about. Right? It's the elites of Jacob versus the spiritually versus the elites of Esau.
But what was written in the Second Esdras, or what are the part in the Son of the Times?
That's it.
The main focal point is this interaction between Esau and Jacob. Right? Everybody else is insignificant in that perspective. The story doesn't revolve around them. Esau is the ruling power currently, and Jacob is the next ruling power afterwards. All right, so there's a transaction that needs to take place between the two. And so this was going to, shape the whole world.
So I remember one of the brothers going into how they found it spiritual, how what brought down King's Landing was fire from above. But in that way it was by way of a dragon, right? But this way it's going to be by way of those nuclear missiles, huh?
Chariots.
Yes, can't forget the chariots. The chariots have an important job to do, like destroy these idols all around the world.
Yep.
Right. No more pyramids, no more Eiffel Tower, no more Arc de Triomphe. Right.
The theme is fire, man. The theme is fire.
Well, I've got second Ezra's on this. Finish, yeah. You going, Ben?
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
I was going to say earlier on, so it's second Ezra 16 from verse 40. O my people, hear my word. Make you ready to the battle, and in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth. Right? Because and that's it. It's like what kind of mindset? Where you read that as well in 2 Peter 3 goes into what manner of persons ought ye to be before holy conversation. And that word conversation, that scripture is going into, basically your way of life, right? It says, he that selleth, let him be as he that fleeth away, and he that buyeth as one that will lose, right? He that occupieth merchandise as he that hath no profit by it, he that buildeth as he that should not dwell therein, he that soweth as if he should not reap. So also he that plants the vineyard as he that shall not gather the grapes, right? Basically going into just like understanding that this is all temporal, man. Yeah. Not that we will just be idle, not doing anything, right? But always going do certain things as the Lord will allow them to, right? But it's just like what spirit are you doing those things in? You get a car, got a nice car. That's it's beautiful. But like, you worshiping the car basically.
Yeah.
When Jake gets a nice car, every Saturday, polishing the rims.
It's just British. What you keep calling it? But nah, he was saying, I don't wash my car. Avoid it. But yeah, you can tell when scratch start setting.
That's it. Yeah, but yeah.
But we're not attached to these
Exactly,
things. So if these things are not getting damaged and that, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
We're not going to lose our brains over something that's happened. It's just like you know, hey, that car's gonna get set on fire anyway.
That's it.
You know what I mean? It's not coming into the kingdom. And so, what does it all mean anyway? You know, if it does the job, gets you to A to B, then that's ultimately what it matters. You know, depending on your budget, you can afford nicer things, but
So
you know, it still does the same thing.
that's the main thing.
So this is Matthew 6:19, and it says, "Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal."
That's one of that things. Like when you go through an affluent neighborhood, that's one of the things I find very interesting. It makes me think about how beautiful the kingdom's gonna be. It's like what I said, even just looking over here. I don't know if you're in that building, you can see this the triangle boxes, right? You know, those are the security alarms and shit. Why? Why? Because in this world, thieves are gonna come in and take your stuff, right? That building over there, so that house over there, it's got a little a metal pipe in front of the driveway, so that what you call no one can steal the car. Yeah,
The bank may come and walk
exactly.
at your house.
Yeah, the real thief. You know.
That's why you buy contents insurance and
Yeah.
house insurance and all these things.
If I'm not mistaken, you can't even buy a house without certain insurance. You're like it's part of your thing where it's like you have to get certain kind of insurance for like if for instance if it's structural damage or stuff like that, right? The bank basically is part of like the requirements, man. That's this one. You know, but in the kingdom, we gonna have security alarms in the kingdom, man. Right? What you call it? You gotta keep the chariot in the garage.
It's called the angels.
Exactly.
With the scriptures, it says our children be playing with, the animals.
Yeah. That's it. That's it.
We're going to be completely at rest and at peace, not worrying about a dime thing. You know, all the position that Lord is going to bestow upon us, man, we're going to worry about losing. You know, we ain't going to be worried, period, about anything.
Verse 20, it says, "But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal." Yeah. Thieves can't block your blessings. You know what I'm saying? He can't go to the Most High and say, "Look, he doesn't deserve this blessing for what he's done in the truth." He has no power, man, concerning them.
And this is the mindset that borrowers should have, right? These possessions that we do have currently, whether it's a lot or a little, doesn't really matter, right? It's the understanding that there might be things that you want, things that you might possibly be able to get in this world for the time being, but we're not going to break our backs over them. It's not that deep. You don't need it that much, you know. So if something can be done and the Lord's with it, fine, do your thing, innit? But don't, like I said, don't have the mindset like, oh, I'm gonna put in bare hours because that you're now detracting what you should be the energy that you should be using for the truth.
Yeah.
You know,
Because the elder made a good point. So if the Lord's with it, you know, because even as a man, you know when you're doing too much. As a man, you know when you're doing too much, trying to achieve a certain thing, and that you know we all got to be honest with ourselves on that. You know, it's like the perfect, the easiest example is with women. Man. You know, here it is like she ain't on it.
because you got to be working hard for all these different things, man. You really should put that energy into the truth, man. Work hard for the truth. You know, it shouldn't take up so much energy and time out of you. You know, it just shouldn't.
Because everything else is going to be what you call it. You know, all of these things that our hearts desire, we don't get it in the abundance in the kingdom.
Exactly. Everything is temporal, man. So what's the point? What's the point of breaking your back? You know, trying to achieve this dream you got in this world. Well, guess what? The game is just that.
Like this. It says Matthew 6:33. It says, "But seek ye the kingdom of the Most High, but seek ye first the kingdom of the Most High and His righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you."
Right? Truth has to come first, man.
And sometimes that's why we may not be getting certain things, and that's just a
Denying yourself.
exactly. And that's just sometimes we have to step back and be like, okay, maybe it's me.
Yeah.
Because it'll be certain things where it's just like, let's say you're might be going through a patch where you're not really doing as much as we need to be doing, but then you're trying to get a gal who's gonna take away the little even more of your time.
Yeah.
But it's like maybe if you get into a good pattern of like, I'm speaking to myself, but yeah, getting some consistency going, right? Then maybe look, cool. Now that you're consistent, cool. And then now you're in that vein where it's like, nah, I need to make sure I'm on point, point. Then whatever it is, whether it's like that promotion that you want, right? That that whatever it is that you need, right? And this is how it is. And most sides jealous, man.
Yeah, build your foundation with the truth, man. Like I say, yeah, we've got to go work, we've got to provide for families or whatever, get daily bread. Yeah, we have to go work. It's one of the unavoidable things. So yeah, that's always going to take time out of the day, right? But anything outside of that, man, should be truth orientated, man. And you build upon that. If you got all this time, if you got all this time, you're doing whatever, man. Then the videos can go, right?
That's it. Yeah, because that's I always remember that the Apostle Paul, he framed it differently, but he was giving the example of like health, and he was like, yeah, man, I bought this juicer, cost however much, but he said, effort, man, it's for your health, man. You spend that on a woman, right? And it's the same thing. I think about that with time as well.
Yep.
You may be like, I ain't got time to do this, I ain't got time to do that, or I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. But then sometimes, like, I'll reframe it in my mind. I was like, yeah, but it was a chick, though. You know what I'm saying? So in London, you got Hyde Park, Winter Wonderland. Jake will be like, man, I don't want to be out in the cold. But they'll go Winter Wonderland with their woman. Right?
Priorities. But it's the same, these other camps don't go out in the winter, don't go out in the summer. The team's too hot or too cold. You'll make these sacrifices for other things. You make these sacrifices for these other things, so why not the truth?
That's it. Hey,
Everything good, brother? Yeah?
Allah,
Bless.
This is 2 Corinthians 13 and 5. It says, because you mentioned that we need to look at ourselves, right?
Yeah.
2 Corinthians 13 and 5 says, examine yourselves, whether you be in the faith. Prove your own selves. Know you not your own selves. So, know you're not your own selves. You know the areas where you're lacking.
Yeah.
You know the areas where you need improvement, the things you need to focus on. You know where your time is being spent. Your wickedness, sins, all of that.
I didn't say because obviously weakness.
Things that's on your mind stressing you, things you need to pray for. Those are things that we need to examine daily.
That's it.
It says, how that Yahweh Mashiach is in you, except you be a reprobate.
That's it. Then that's it. We constantly have to be querying ourselves, and not ever what's the word? Basically, we always have to be looking at ourselves. Point the finger on the other one. Exactly. I said it from exactly. And understand ultimately the Most High, what Switch says, it's nothing for the Most High to make someone rich. It's not the Most High to give you. Was King David? With King David, the Lord was like,
If you wanted more wives, if you wanted more,
I would have given it to you.
Yeah, just ask.
It's just us, and that's it. It's just like, any weakness or anything like that, anything that's getting in the way. We can pray on these things, to the Lord to help us through that patch and that period of time, where we maybe in ourselves we've identified actually now something ain't quite right, or where I would much rather it be, right? Because this truth is all about accountability, man. The fact that we went into captivity for accountability. It's like we were in Marcus 7:9. I'll bear the indignation of Yahweh because I've sinned against them, man. And that's it. Sometimes we catching L's and whatever, right? And it's like, damn, that carnal response, maybe as well as said, to blame all of this, that, and the other, right? But ultimately, it's just that thing. Hey, bro, we're not against the Lord, man. In this world, they push this narrative of like, I deserve.
But it's really a thing of like the only thing according to scripture, the only thing you deserve is death. You know, so let me grab that. Huh? Then I want to say,
Don't see if I'm sure that the Lord will all I do right now is to seek mercy.
Seek
Seek God.
yeah. Because that's it. So, because these the one you quoted, you know, goes hand in hand. So it says Romans 3:23 says, "For all have sinned and come short of the glory of the Most High." And then precept that with Romans 6:23, "For the wages of sin is death." If we've all sinned, then the only thing that we have, you know, really that we deserve is death. Right? So, but the gift of the Most High is eternal life through Yahweh Shai Mashiach our Lord.
So that was the only thing that was guaranteed. You know, transgressed, death was on the path of man. You know, this idea that we receive mercy is a blessing. You know, it's beyond what we was told. Like, we know the Lord's mercy, but it's beyond what we were told. You know, the fact that we can do all this badness and the Lord's still going to give us the kingdom. That's mad. So, you know, like, what do we deserve? I don't know. What we done to deserve that? We haven't.
Extinction.
Yeah.
You remember that account, the story with Moses, where the Lord told Moses, "Look, just go stand to the side. Just take these niggas out." Remember, he said, like, I'll make a nation of you. And then Moses had to plead, like, "No, Lord, you know, because then the heathen gonna say you just brought us out to just destroy us." You know what I mean? And it's like that just shows you the like gift, because according to the contract, you know, we already broke the contract. We're supposed to die. Remember?
The terms and conditions dictate.
Yeah. In other words, it's like if you read it in Deuteronomy says that, well, it speaks about us taking the blood of the covenant on us, isn't it? You know what I mean? And that basically you just have to go. You know what I mean? But then that's why the Lord had to send the Son to redeem us from the curse of the law. Yep. You know, to be a mediator of a new testament, new covenant, which doesn't apply to the kingdom.
Is the only thing that the reason why we're not dead, right? Why that contract is not binding necessary is because the promise the Most High already made.
Yeah.
That prioritized over that covenant that was made. Right? The promise he made with our forefathers is over that, because he can't break that one. Right? So he has to change the covenant he made with us originally, and that's why we're part of that certain covenant. Right? That's why it's made of promises. You know, where we're going to be changed in order to be, for us to be able to keep that covenant. You know, and that's the only thing that's really getting us. You know what I'm saying? You know.
Yeah. This is Ecclesiasticus 44 and 21. Therefore he assured him by an oath that he would bless the nations in his seed. That in his seed. It's not, you know, because you know that scripture. What's that?
No,
nations.
yeah.
The company of nations of thee, and bless the nations. In thee shall all the
Nations, yeah.
blessed. Applied unto the seed of Israel.
And this is why the story follows the seed of Israel.
Yeah, it follows.
It follows the seed of Israel.
Yeah.
You know, it's a narrative. It's a whole story. It's a narrative. The Bible's not random. That's why certain kingdoms and empires he mentioned. You know what I mean? Because, you know,
Yeah.
like, you know, because like even the like Chinese empire,
Yeah. Han Dynasty.
it was there.
Yeah, same time as our Lord.
Yeah,
The Han Dynasty was over there doing its thing.
Yeah, it was just there, isn't it?
I think it's Han Dynasty. Yeah.
you know, like get them mobile food shops. Across the road, isn't it? Unimportant, but it's not important, you know, because it's true. I remember back in the day, there was brothers going into like prophecies, like they had an empire of the coming of the Lord. Remember this back in the day. But it says, therefore he showed them by an oath that he would bless the nation in his seed, and that he would multiply him as the dust of the earth, and exalt his seed
That's it.
as the stars, and cause them to inherit from sea to sea, from the river unto the utmost part of the land. With Isaac did he establish?
Which we never did that. We never got the whole land,
Yeah.
you know, and that's what we're going to see in the kingdom, man. You know, yep.
Which proves them nice, if like that's in the land now, that land of Israel is not really the promised land. It's a portion of what it is, because it's got bigger borders than that. It shows you, garden, the 4 rivers and all that. It goes into it. Right? It says, with Isaac did he establish likewise for Abraham his father's sake the blessing of all men and the covenant, and it made it rest upon the head of Jacob. He acknowledged him in his blessing. So he didn't acknowledge Esau,
But this is the thing, but it just said all men a minute ago.
but then
But what about Esau then?
but yeah,
What about Israel? What about all these other dudes?
Exactly.
No, not talking about them.
Yeah.
It's talking about all the men of Israel.
yeah. It's sort of like
When it comes to Jacob.
yeah, it's sort of like whosoever shall call upon the name be saved. Ye men of Israel, hear these words. That's right.
Otherwise, he wouldn't have just chose Jacob.
Yeah, it says, and it made it rest upon Jacob. He acknowledged him in his blessing and gave him an heritage and divided his portions among the 12 tribes to be part. Yeah, it says, he acknowledged him in his blessing and gave him an heritage and divided his portions among the 12 tribes to be part. So that ties into Deuteronomy 32. We separate the sons.
And that just goes to show you that God has a demon. We'll talk about our theoretical spiritual seed of Abraham or whatever. Then why did we follow the line of the Israelites? Why did we do that?
But
Why are they still being talked about in the New Testament?
and guess what? The spiritual seed is the physical seed. You know what I mean? Because the special spirit is for the special seed, isn't it?
Now, what you're really talking about is the elite, the elect of Israel.
Yeah.
That's what you're really talking about. The spirit of Israel is the elect of Israel. But they
Israel
come in that, because they come in that spirit of Abraham.
Yeah.
Right, that's what that is. That's what they're speaking about. And that whole idea. He said that one time that we talked about like we won the spiritual lottery or whatever.
Bro, we did.
I don't think you understand. I don't think you understand, man. Because like I said, we don't deserve nothing, right? But just by these promises that were made before our time,
Yeah.
we get everything.
Yeah.
That's it.
You get everything.
That's
You
it.
know, crazy. It's crazy. Like,
Well,
what
it's
we
rigged.
done,
It's
yeah?
rigged.
Yeah.
You know?
Like
I
FIFA
can't-
World Cup 2022.
I can't express that enough, bro.
Like it's obviously it is it the same line?
Yeah. Hey, because you know what we started talking about on that point about during the time when we was in the when you read the scriptures, other kingdoms were happening, right? And they basically weren't referenced. So basically, when I referenced the Han Dynasty, which is funny. Also, I'll read this first bit. It says it was basically considered a golden age. It's not mentioned at all in the scriptures, right? A golden age in Moabite, history, and it's not mentioned at all. So then I, just to verify it wasn't mentioned, I was like, okay, that's interesting. That is at the same time as Jesus, right? If you know his name is Yahushai, are there any records of them knowing about Yahushai or the other way around, right? And it's interesting. So it starts off by saying there is no evidence from reliable historical records, right? But then it goes on to say apocryphal claims. So some Christian interpretations of historical Chinese, they say, astronomical records suggest that certain events were noted in the history of the later Han Dynasty that coincide with biblical accounts, such as a comet thought to be the Star of Bethlehem, in quotes, or solar eclipse darkening of the skies during the crucifixion. These interpretations suggest records of a comet, quote, 5 to 4 BCE, and unusual celestial phenomena, right, eclipses a rainbow halo around 31 CE, right? So basically roughly coinciding with the historical timelines of the scriptures, man. But I just find it interesting. At first, it's like, no, there's no evidence. And I was like, well, actually, there's some records that say that there were certain things that were noted that coincide with the scriptures.
Them saying there's no evidence just saying this unverified evidence.
Yeah.
Different.
Yeah.
I mean, there is evidence. Someone
Yeah.
did say something, right? So we verified it. But they want to cast that doubt amongst that. So they, they'll just say, oh, well, don't,
Yep.
trust on them.
Because their whole thing is pushing this. The reason why I wanted to bring it out, so not slightly different to what Bo was talking about, but it's like he likes to push this idea and narrative that we, the scriptures haven't got anything, that back it up, right? Whereas like here, we literally just read it. I was like, yo, they also observe certain strange things around them times. I was like, yo, what's going on here, right? Once again, proving that these, which we don't need that proof, right? We believe through the Spirit. But
Scriptures is real.
yeah.
There's a lot of like historical things that are just still there.
Exactly.
Like, history, even though Esau might try and hide it. Bro, the earth is big. It's like, when Roberts travel and that, planes in certain parts of the earth. Or there's certain mountains, it's just like
Just keep going.
regions there, like
Yeah.
happened there.
Yeah.
Like, even the ark is there, bro.
Yeah.
It's Turkey.
There-
Go to the north.
There's
It's there.
sorry,
Ararat.
yeah.
That's it.
There's a mountain range. I think it's in Tibet.
Shells, isn't it? He's talking about that. Like,
Oh, so I think there's a mountain range in Tibet, which the peaks are so high that planes can't legally fly over them. Right. So that whole region, there's so much that could be going on and nobody knows.
yeah. Even I was speaking about like there's this, Esau and the scientists, they're looking at certain mountains and they found like seed shells and stuff.
Right.
They're like, bro, how do we get
Right.
that? I mean, I wonder why.
That's it. That's it.
Esau knows the truth. That's why I saw that scene in Book of Eli. Remember that like, the lead character. He was like, I need that book. But guess what? The book is sealed. Remember in that, like, it was in Braille. It was really hidden. Yeah. It was hidden in plain sight. The understanding is sealed, man. It's given to the elect. It's for the elect.
See, the thing about the scriptures is very heavily focused on the Israelites, right? And essential Israelites playing essential parts, right? So you might speak about, Egypt because Israelites are in Egypt, or you might speak about Israelites that came from different areas to come to Jerusalem because that's important to the story.
Yeah.
But what's going on with Moab? Who cares? Unless they interact with the Israelites, it don't really matter. Same with anything else. Rome he spoke about a lot because guess what? He was in captivity under Rome. And any other empire, because we was there. If we wasn't there, no one was talking about this.
And so like it's perfect to go into that, but it's a topic needed to brothers and meanings to touch on as well. Because it's true. In reading Genesis, read about Joseph and Egypt. Obviously in Egypt they call him Imhotep. That's what they call him Joseph. But then after that, if you look at the various empires around, like say like in Persia, or even with Daniel and the three children, they actually held prominent ranks. In the Babylonian Empire. Moses was the son of was basically the son of Pharaoh's daughter. So he was raised. He wasn't raised as just a sheep herder in the back. He was raised as like the grandson of Pharaoh. So that's why he had ranks. He had ranks. He went out to war. He was doing stuff. And then you can even go into what? Persia. You know what I mean? Like the Mordecai. Like then you and that whole kind of influences even in the Tobit. It touches on the Assyrian. Tobit had the father, like, I always get mixed up, the father and the son. But yeah, the father's Tobit. Isn't it? Yeah, his nephew, who actually was a wise man for the Assyrian Empire. You know what I mean? He's actually mentioning Tobit. You know what I mean? And in the like Assyrian Empire, he was actually like a wise man. So And then you've got Maccabees. You know, all of the great men people mention, you know, Maccabees brothers and that. Rome, that speaks for itself. So it's true. All the empires, Jacob played a very influential part.
So
You know, even Greece.
These omniscience are just there to
Yeah.
make a backdrop to us.
Yeah.
You know?
that's it.
And that's why the Lord sees the rest of the world anyway.
Yeah.
These other nations are a backdrop to it. They're just side pieces.
They're just side
our
characters,
greater
bro.
story. You know?
They're side characters. Because remember, was it Daniel when he speaks about how they like, was it Jeremiah where he mentioned going to the Babylonian capital, where it says that they like got all of the learned sons, like best of the best. Yeah. But it was dealing with the Babylonian Empire, but it says like all of them that's learning science and all of that, and then they start learning the language one. Daniel, yeah, Daniel goes into that because Jake had influence.
So
People underestimate Jake is, you know when we say people just say, oh, they're just trying to make everything about us. No, seriously.
yeah. Got some Isaiah 40 and 15. Behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket, and are counted as a small dust of the balance. Behold, he taketh up the isles as a very little thing.
This ain't about your history. Right? Yeah, you had the empires that, you know, when we was in captivity, but it's not about you. It's never been about you. It's about our people in your captivity, in your kingdom, your empire. So, you know, no one's ever written, oh, it was a sad day when Babylon fell. That never happened. But you got people crying over Israel, how the mighty fallen, and all these different types of things. Like, you know, it was continuously mourning for Israel. No one cares about the other nations. These guys don't care about the other nations like that. So, you know, go on.
It's Isaiah 40, verse 15. And it says, behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket, and are counted as a small dust of the balance. Behold, he taketh up the hours as a very little thing.
Yeah, man. I mean, a bunch of extras, man. Them Hebrews always get them mad. Like, obviously, Jake Scott everywhere, but you just be there. 936 people dying of landslide. Jake is everywhere, but it's just like, a monsoon just sweep the whole village.
But remember, there was two. Was it like a year ago, or 2 years ago,
Yeah.
when it's like
Pakistan, innit?
yeah, no. So I forget. There was on one end it was the earthquake in Turkey, I think.
Yeah,
and that was like 50,000.
60,000.
Yeah, and then there was a dam.
Yeah.
I forget which country it
China.
was. No, there was a dam in one of them countries, and it
Yeah.
broke, and overnight 10,000 man just dead.
Gone.
You know,
Like, those,
overnight.
bro, same night.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of things that's been happening, man. Obviously, Jake is everywhere, but bro, these nations, you just be hearing them. It's almost like there's just a bunch of extras. Like, yeah, remember, you know when you play like Grand Theft Auto, you just hit one and
Verse 17, it says, all nations before him are as nothing, and they are counted to him.
yeah, but then now his blessed son is gonna go on the cross for fucking Elam.
But this
True.
thing, all nations to him are nothing, but
Yeah.
not Israel. Israel it matters to him.
Yeah.
Israel's special to him. They're not nothing to the Lord.
So that's a good point. Because by that scripture alone, by default, there has to be someone he cares about. Exactly. Because if you didn't care about basically everyone, then basically everyone's on the same level.
Well, then why? Well, exactly why the reason what the Lord said, or it's written that the Lord made the world for our sakes.
For our sakes.
You know, made for our sakes.
Yeah, it's rigged, man.
That's right.
It's rigged, dude. You don't need you ever seen them like bars, man? You know, like you see a long ass line, and you know, you wait simple. Oh man, I want to get in. And then there's another dude, he just
It rolls up.
Yeah.
And everyone's in the line just like
Yo, I mean, what's it called, man? Not matter you're tall or if you're fresh to death. Your black ass go and stand in that line at the back, man. While the other guy gets a preferential treatment. That's basically, no, not the story of Israel, but that's basically like the level, the type of preferential treatment with us. Like, yes, all nations sin, right? But We're gonna get massive.
Yeah, and but
That's it.
even on that, it's like you read what Amos 3:2, and it was a precept on Second Ezra 6, right, which goes into just how like, yo, with Israel, yo, it's instant, man. if the punishment was instant and rigged, if you will, because these other heathen, I mean, look how much shit Esau's been doing. He's just chilling.
Yeah.
The elders yesterday were saying we had 40 years. The elders we had 40 years, and I was like, all right, you jacked up now. You know what I'm saying?
It's even the food.
Yeah.
Like as you know, I'm sure as you know, brother. You know, there's heathens out that can eat anything. Jake can
get bloated.
yeah, don't never get bloated. Never get bloated, bro. Here it is. Jake just breathe and get bloated. You know what I mean? But these other nations can eat a fucking rockfish. Have you seen a rockfish? It's like a rock.
That's crazy.
It's like I'm serious. It's happened to a rockfish. You're like, you're not supposed to eat that. All these niggas need is a soy sauce, man, and that's it.
Yeah.
Jake try and get a bit exotic, and
Bro,
niggas
problems.
face swelling up. His ears the biggest shit. You don't know, because we're the temple, isn't it? We're the temple, so it's like things affect us differently, man.
Like Koreans, they eat like fucking sea urchins, man.
Yeah.
Have you seen the sea? It's just literal. It's like a sea hedgehog.
Yeah.
So it's just got spikes all over him. That's what you doing, man.
Bro, these Baconites in the
You
UK,
pay.
these Baconites, these British Baconites, bro, they eat eels. They eat jellied eels. Just eel jelly.
Pork scratchings.
Pork scratches. The blood sausage.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Scotland.
Yeah.
Black pudding.
Yeah.
Black pudding,
In
yeah.
Scotland, but these Baconites across the road have it in the
Yeah.
pubs. In case brothers didn't know, there's a sausage that these Baconites, which are these British Edomites, that's what we call it.
It's like us.
It's no, it's a
Yeah.
it's,
Is it illets? I thought it was illets.
It's nasty.
it's basically blood. It gets
I know it's I know that. I just
it's thickened up into a sausage.
oh they put it in a sausage.
What was it?
Maybe.
You know what I'm saying? It's for real.
Yeah.
That's what they have.
That's
man.
what they eat. And but the thing is as well, let's not forget.
No
they eat-
pain.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's not forget they also eat the pig, which
Yeah,
with
of
these
course.
with these other things, it's like it's because it's so abnormal to us,
Exotic. Yeah.
right? It's like, whoa, that's nasty. But whoa, to who we actually are, the pig itself, that's like, whoa. You know what? There's the what do you call it? You know, because swine, that's just something like the Lord. There's just something about that swine where it's always singled out.
Yeah.
You know.
You still love it, shit. Yeah. But then even according to the law, remember, if a beast dies by itself, you can give it to the heathen.
Yeah.
That's 2 tier.
A usury, like yeah.
Pay you back and more. Yeah, you gotta make sure you can do that.
Sin is basically our kryptonite.
Mhm.
But they say the Lord obviously showing the different class of people on the planet. You know, there's us and there's everybody else.
Right.
Just like it's written. You know, the Lord, the Lord made everybody and the people that He chose.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's two different classes of people. Right? Israel is set to be above, and so how we deal with you different nations is different, and the Most High deals with you different other nations is different. You don't have the same privileges. Right?
Ecclesiasticus 43:10. And all men are from the ground, and Adam was created of earth.
Right? So Esau will throw that out there as if we're all the same. Even though he thinks he's superior, he himself thinks he's superior, but he throws that there to make it seem like we're all the same. Okay? But it's not true.
In much knowledge, the Lord has divided them and made their ways diverse.
Right? So we've got different cultures out there.
Yeah.
Depending on what seed line you come from, you've got different kind of cultures, right?
Some of them as he blessed and exalted, and some of them is sanctified.
So that's favoritism. And I typed this into the AI one time, man. I was in the argument with AI, man. Trying to tell me that it's not the Lord having favoritism or being racist and all these
Going
things.
off, man.
I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I gave all these examples. AI was having it, but I was like, oh, you waste, man. So, you know, I let him just think of that, innit? But like, obviously, the Lord has favoritism.
Who doesn't?
right?
Yeah.
You don't, right? And this is the thing about being patriotic. Being patriotic is having favoritism for your own people, and that's really the definition of racism. I know Esau puts in this other shit like you're abusive to people and shit. You don't need to be. You can be racist, not be abusive.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can do that. But Esau, he's done the most, isn't it? So you just think it's all about violence. You know, I don't like you.
That's it.
I prefer my kind over your kind.
That's it.
You know, cats prefer cats, dogs prefer dogs.
That's it.
That's what it is, right? That's really the true definition of racist, right? It's the same as being patriot, essentially, right? The Lord prefers his people over everybody else. That's why he made them better, made them above everybody else, right? The Lord, by definition, is a racist. He prefers his race. Okay, you might say, yeah, but the Lord doesn't have a race. There's no place semantics, right? The Lord chose himself a people, isn't it? Who is the father? He is the father, spiritual father of, right? That's his race. That's his people. Okay. Oh, no. Sorry.
And and some of them is sanctified,
Some of those sanctified, meaning made holy, meaning separate. We're separate from everybody else. Yep.
and set near himself,
Near unto himself, made him his people. Right? Yep. Gave him his ways. Right? The laws and rules. Right? No such commandments. Yep.
but some of them as he cast and brought low,
Right? And in particular, that's Esau, the vessel of wrath fitted to destruction. That's a cursed nation. The Lord says he hates them with perpetual hatred. That's a curse. You don't want to be hated by the Heavenly Father. You can say this one thing about the heathen outside of Esau. The Lord don't hate them like he hates Esau. Right? He'll have some sort of mercy on a heathen, right? Not salvation mercy, but a mercy of sorts, right? But Esau not going to see none of that.
Yeah, it's because at least it's better. It's better to be anything in nature
Than an Edom.
than to eat them.
You really lucked
Because
out.
even
Man.
that
You fucked.
Yeah, and
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like even the ants gonna actually get to like experience, you know.
yeah.
Because Esau's gonna be exterminated.
Yeah.
Esau's gonna be exterminated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
There ain't gonna be no nation of Edomites. Now, if the Lord wants to do anything with their spirits, that's on him. No, but in terms of this is Esau, hey, Mr. Esau, hi. You know, that's not accurate.
So Esau is a cursed people. Even though we're under the curses, we're cursed people in that sense. But only Esau is cursed of the earth. They have the curse of Cain, and they're cursed off the earth, man. You know. Yep.
and he brought low and turned out of their presence. As the clay is in the potter's hand to fashion it at his pleasure, so man is in the hand of him that made him.
And this is the what's that word, man? This is the power of the Lord, right? He has the right to do what he wants with his creation. Now, as a human being, you might feel like you know it's kind of bad for you, isn't it? Because you feel like, why do I have to suffer? Why do I have to go through things and whatever, right? But
It wasn't me.
at the same time, yeah, it wasn't me or whatever. But at the same time, you don't have a say in the whole. We don't have a say in any of this, man. We're just a simple creation the Most High created, right? Yeah, we've got emotions and you feel bad, but ultimately the Most High does what he wants. The fact that you're even alive to begin with is thanks to the Heavenly Father. So if he wants to take your life, he can. He wants to use you for a particular thing, he can. And he will.
Oh, like in John 9,
Mm.
where the Lord used that man that was blind from birth,
Yeah.
just for
Just
power.
for that, just to show the Most High's glory, the power, right?
Mhm.
He can do that, right? And as creations, we can't really say anything.
Yeah.
Even though men like to talk, but this is why you're getting judged because you're talking too much, talking too much shit. The Most High can do what he wants, right? It is what it is. Say something. You can't overthrow the Heavenly Father, so there's just no point. You have to accept things for what they are, not what you want it to be.
Got a precept on that. Sure. This is Romans 9:9. For this is the word of promise. At this time will I come and Sarah shall have a son. And not only this, but when Rebekah also had conceived by one, even by our father Isaac, for the children being not yet born, neither having done any good or evil, but the purpose of the Most High, according to election, might stand.
Well, that's what he told the prophet. He said, 2 nations are now two manner of people. Prophet said, like that. One shall be stronger than the other. So
One was gonna have the blessing,
yeah,
one was gonna have the curse.
Like,
That's how it's played out.
Esau was born to lose, man.
Yeah.
He's always second best.
And it angers him.
Yeah, it
It
can't.
angers him up.
You're not obviously not the same level, but you know what makes you think about it. Dragon Ball Z. No, that. But remember, what's that guy? Krillin.
Yeah.
Remember, he kept like he's trying to get the powers, but it wasn't levels. Like,
He's lying. He was lying.
yeah, he was like, man, like,
He's
oh,
got the training too.
I'm doing the training too. But, yeah, couldn't. You know what I mean?
It's just an earth thing, bro.
Bro,
It's an earth
yeah,
thing, bro.
yeah, like, it don't,
You know you're up against the apex species.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, like,
That's what it is.
but it don't matter how much stretches you do, you're not running faster than Usain Bolt. Like, it don't matter how much water fast you do, 0 calorie drinks, you're not gonna outrun Usain Bolt.
Steroids.
It's not happening, bro. You know,
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
Which is true because in the running world, sprinting world, Usain Bolt is almost a freak because he's tall.
Yeah.
And like generally they're like, yo, this is strange.
Super J.
You know?
Yep. Super Cell.
It says, for the children being not yet born, neither having done any good or evil, but the purpose of the Most High, according to election, might stand, not of works, but of him that calleth. It was said unto her that
Which proves there's no free will.
Mm.
Because if you look at the narrative of the story, like Isaac's favorite was Esau.
Mm.
He you know, I mean, like his favorite was was Esau, you know. But then it got switched around.
What's his first?
That's right.
That's the thing. There's the thing. It goes beyond normal conventions, isn't it?
His first was son.
You know, the Most High like shook things up because he can. You know, he picked the second son.
Yeah.
Really just to anger Esau. It's really just to wind him up because it's Cain. Like, yeah, you were the first. You got everything set up for you, and you still fucked up.
Yeah.
You still fucked up because I made you fuck up.
Yeah.
Because you got fuck up. You know, that's what he's done.
Yeah, Lord does not follow. Bro, that's a car crash.
It sounds like man.
That's a bad one.
Yeah, the car is self.
Bro, that sounds
Sounded
like
big.
it sounds like it sounds like a car flip, man. You hear that? Bro? That was a bad car crash.
Helped, man. Helped.
Shit.
Anyway.
That road was
Or could you speed ups, bro? Speed ups are mad.
bro, yeah, but it sounds like a car.
Nah, it sounds like
Slip.
yeah, it sounds like fine, good.
Shit, hopefully that road ain't got traffic.
Yeah,
Yeah, but yeah, like it's sometimes the Lord just like it's sort of like it makes me think about Ephraim, and you know it was like this.
Mm.
You know, it's like, and then remember we tried to change it.
He was like, no, I'm good. Man.
I ain't right the first time.
Yeah, I got it right. You know, that's how it is. It's like that's in a sense that's you could say that's kind of what happened with Jacob. It's like this one's supposed to be the birthright, but now the Lord just how it happened.
And even on that story, man, because bows are going into, it's like the Lord made Isaac blind for that purpose.
Moving in the spirit.
Yeah.
Same as Jacob,
Yeah.
blessing Ephraim.
Yeah, but yeah.
He was doing
It's not he didn't have enough to go by.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, this one looks more stronger than the other or whatever. Like, he's actually he's blind, spiritual. And he's like, no, even if it's correct, he's like, no. What I'm doing is right. It's the spirit. It's saying this is the time.
Yeah.
Your friend's gonna be this.
Yeah.
You know, he's gonna be greater than his brother.
And
So it is.
also, there's just something I think about every now and then, because it's the first time I've thought about it in a while, but it's just the fact that normally babies come out head first.
Yeah.
Because the whole part of that story was Jacob held the heel of Esau. So the Most High from the beginning of creation designed it that babies come out head first. So that the legs are trailing. So that Jacob could hold that leg to hold it down. You know. In the Most High, man. Meticulous is the word.
Everything is the way the Most High wants it. You know, even this period of wickedness that going on the earth is part of the story, part of his creation story, right? Which ends with righteousness, right? And so everyone can bear testament, bear witness of the history of the earth and how it's been run. To know that these people are truly the righteous, man, and they benefit the earth. Right? When you got his sons ruling in righteousness, man, there's nothing better than that.
Mhm.
The earth is exactly how it's supposed to be. People are how they're supposed to be, you know? And things are just generally work better because when you follow the ways of the Heavenly Father. Because that's one thing these heathens have always been missing is order, real laws. Because they've always managed themselves, right? And they've always been going on. Right? But under the rulership of Israel, under the Israelites, they're actually going to start to learn our law. Because we're going to know it perfectly. You can't be a teacher unless you knew it perfectly.
Mhm.
We was never fit to rule and run the other nations. Because we wasn't even fit to rule ourselves. We went off. But in the new world, right, where Israel's going to be elevated, we're going to be perfect speakers. We're going to be perfect children, right? And therefore, thus acceptable or good enough to run the earth, right, and to direct the people of the planet. You know, so everything can work in harmony. You know, and that's going to bring this world into a new age like that's never been seen before. You know, Esau talk about all this technology and shit. You ain't seen nothing yet. You know, because we haven't seen righteousness enough yet. You ain't seen the fruits of righteousness yet. You know, so imagine the levels we're gonna be on, you know, into the future, man. You know, but that's the story the Most High has written.
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah, sorry. Isaiah 2 from the top. It says, the word Isaiah the son of Amos saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains.
Right, this hasn't happened yet, right? Because we're not in that time yet. We have to get to the you know the changing, right? We have to be changed first, right? To be these proper stewards of the earth, right? And in that time, these nations are going to recognize who we are as a people, and they're going to respect unto us, right? Not like before, where oh yeah, they got a god called Yahweh, and their man they took out the Canaanites and took the land of Israel. And every man trying to come up and try and fight us afterwards. They didn't have no respect for us really, but they're going to have respect in the kingdom because we're going to be on a whole different level, you know. So they're going to want to walk after us, man. Yep.
And it says, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. And many people shall go and say, come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the God of Jacob.
So they're going to submit themselves to us and know that we possess the ways of life, right? And so they're going to want that too. So obviously, you're still going to have wicked individuals and people that commit crimes and that. Yeah, they're going to be judged. But generally, these nations are going to want to be at peace with us. you know.
Yeah, that's right. And he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem.
Because even to this very day, people still walk after their own paths, and that's why these small hats in the land of Israel, they don't do no scriptures, right? Because the world's not following after them in the ways of righteousness; they're still following their own ways, still in the ways of wickedness. These nations are meant to be moving towards righteousness, but they haven't got guide in this world because this world is full of wickedness. There is no guide here, right? But in the kingdom, there's going to be guides. Many of us, the kingdom of Yahweh Shai.
Mhm.
Right? They're going to see a whole nation full of righteous, man, and they're going to follow after that because it's going to benefit them to do that. Well, it's definitely going to hurt if they don't do it. But it's going to benefit them to do that. You know?
Last verse, and it says, and he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks.
We're going to demand peace. We're going to enforce peace.
Mhm.
Peace enforcers.
You know, it ain't going to be like, oh yeah, you're going to write some treaties. Russia, what that treaty with the
Versailles?
no, the nuclear one.
Oh, non-proliferation.
Yeah, waiting on man to disable the nukes. No, bro, you get rid of them now.
Yeah.
Not hearing none of that. Oh yeah, we'll do this. No, it's gone now. It's gone.
That's why we got. You know when you get such like UFC gets submitted, you got to just tap.
Yeah.
That's how it's got to be for these people.
Yeah, man.
They got to submit.
Hand up, bro.
The scripture, yeah. Every knee shall bow and tongue confess.
That's it.
Remember in school, man, used to play the little hand game. You know
Oh.
that thing.
Done more?
I don't know. No, you know the thing when like you might grab, he twist the nigga's arm, and then they're like, "Oh shit, man!" And you know what I mean?
Wait, you mean the arm wrestle?
Not arm wrestle. No, you know what I'm talking about.
I was about to say you went. I was about to say you went some hood school, but we went to the same school.
I think it's called knuckle. You know when you like do that and something is stronger than your ass and it's twisted. He has you like under pain and submission. Like
that's a engaging thing, right?
no, I don't know about that. Shit. But my point is, if you just submit, you're like, bro, I can't do that. You're just strong. Like that's how it has to be with these nations, bro. Like through force, through violence.
It shows you that even as much as he's sort of strong, he's not even on that level.
He can't.
He can't. He's you know he's not about peace. He couldn't enforce peace anyway.
He's really weak, man.
You know, because he can only do it by conventional means. It's not an overwhelming power.
Exactly.
We're gonna have overwhelming power that no one has any counteracting to, man.
Submission.
You know, you can't just get like he's still got nukes. Well, I can get nukes too. There's no level where we're equal.
Nope.
You know, we're going to be such a different level. There's nothing that you do with work.
That's
So all you can do is submit.
yeah, submission. You just tap it. Like, mercy. That's the
So
game.
you're gonna
mercy.
Oh, okay, I remember.
okay.
Mercy. That's the game.
You're gonna respect our power and our authority.
Yeah.
You know, and you ain't gonna be breaking that, man. So we tell you to put down swords and melt the swords and do whatever, man. You're gonna do all that, man.
Mercy.
Because you're gonna be judged if you don't. Yep.
That's what you can do. Wow, bro.
And it says, nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore.
You're gonna be peace. You're gonna be at peace with your neighbors, man. You know, and if anyone trying to upset that,
That's
they
it.
have to answer to us.
That's it. No more nukes. You know what I mean? Guns.
Yeah,
everywhere.
destructive technology.
What was that in X-Men? No more superpowers.
That's it. Because bro, like these weapons that Esau got, I they give you a god complex, bro. Like
And you're not actual gods.
Yeah. Like, bro, you know what I mean? A gun has
They
you
call
have a life in your hand. You know what I mean? Like,
it the great equalizer.
yeah. Because nigga could be 4'7", bro.
Yeah,
If he ups his 357 Magnum, man, you get the same
Like, it's the same way you be seeing these lady cops, man, and they'll be having the pistols and that, and they be like really.
You know you grew up with the bitch. You know when she put the taser out. God, it's like, oh shit, man.
That's it, yeah. You know what? I actually saw a video like that the other day. There was a Jake that was trying to rob her off. Beauty Jake lady cop tried to rob her gun. And they wrestled for a bit and he's like, oh please.
I remember that. Yeah.
The bitch shot him. He's like, I'm sorry. And then eventually, a couple of days later, he died. But she told him, listen, I'm gonna shoot your ass.
Yeah, I remember that.
And she did. But in real life, he could have done whatever he wanted to.
Yeah.
That's why, you know, when the Lord comes, power, it's like everyone's gonna be submitted and the right order is gonna be established. Spiritual power, boy, you can't fight against that.
But that's why it's gonna be peace. There's gonna be absolute authority.
Yeah.
You know, in righteousness.
Yeah.
That's it, man.
It's making me think of, remember the incident when that white guy came to the guy's camp.
Oh yeah.
I'm saying, disarmed them.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, you actually started calling that brother bro after.
The humanity gonna be running drugs across borders and shit like that. They ain't doing none of that, man. Because we just won't allow it.
Brings the children of God.
And we gotta be know. We're just gonna know. We're gonna be there. You know what I mean? You know, we're gonna be, bring judgment quick. You know, so none of this stuff can proliferate and grow, fester into bigger things. So Earth will be, peace of Earth will be maintained.
Right.
You know, so the world's gonna be a better place for that, man. But you need to understand yourself. So you know what you're up against. You need to understand. You know, but that's what you need, though. You need that power to enforce these things. You know, you sit there and relying on other people to do the right thing.
Yeah,
and that just don't happen because these men are off.
They're able to do the right thing.
Yeah, you know, you have to make the do.
So,
Anyone's got anything else? Close up. Okay, with that, man, we're going to say Shalom. Praise and glory to Yahweh,
Hashem,
Yahweh,
Yahweh, Hashem, Kakadosh.
Get double honors onto the elders,
Double honors.
GMS.